Sally's what you kind of expect. They're going to be at Mount Pleasant. They're number 9. And then St. George is number 10. Again, that's the 4th 0-2 team. They lost to Howard, lost to Cedar Rogers, play out of the top 10, 8-10 Logan after a loss to Maryland. Looking at Division 2, it's 1-2. Woodbridge, Williams, Friends. Those teams square off tomorrow. What do you think about that?
That's going to be an interesting game. You have Coach Manlow bringing his troops up the long bus ride. They're not used to playing on Saturdays. They play almost all of their games at 7:30 on Friday night down at Woodbridge, so it'll be interesting. I do think just from a talent perspective, Woodbridge has the edge. So the only question is going to be, can Friends get off to a quick start, kind of shock that Woodbridge team that's not used to playing that early in the day? If they can get off to a great start with the freshman quarterback Wyatt Nelson, you never know what's going to happen. My pick would be Woodbridge, but I think it's going to be an excellent game.
Woodbridge had 70 kids try out for their team after winning the school's first state championship. They only had 35 last year. They're going to go up again against the all-time winningest high school coach, Bob Tattersall of Wilmington Friends. Delaware Military, undefeated. They come in at number 3. We've got them against St. Elizabeth next week for our Friday night game of the week. Archmere at number 4. Delmar at number 5. Milford at number 6. Howard at number 7. You know, I get the feeling, Marty, that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 could go any way at this point in the season. I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite out of that group.
No, I agree. That's sort of a toss-up. You kind of throw them all in a hat, mix it up, take your pick. It's going to play out as the season progresses forward. But you're right. One of the teams I would look at right off the bat is Delaware Military Academy. If you haven't, go back into the archives and look at Brad Meyer's article on DMA's game against Milford last week. It was an absolute stunning contest. It came down to a ridiculous finish where DMA held on or came out and kicked the winning field goal for the win. But they look like a team. It's going to be very interesting with my St. E. Vikes, seeing how they do with Delmar down there tonight. But it could be interesting. This could be a great season for DMA.
All right. AI DuPont into Division 2 for the first time in school history. They're at number 8 at 2-0. Wins over D1 Polytech and Charter of Wilmington. Brandywine probably in the top 10 for the first time since I can remember, with wins over Laurel and Christiana. They have a tough one. They host Glasgow tomorrow. That's going to be a tough one. Glasgow is number 10. Glasgow, a very athletic team, lost that heartbreaker in our opener, the DFRC Kickoff Classic, and then beat a McCain team last week that I believe is now 1-1. Out of the top 10, St. Mark's and Indian River. So that is a look at the top 10. And so when we come back, we're going to take a look at the two teams you'll see tonight. Hodgson Silver Eagles against the Newark Yellow Jackets here on Fox Sports 1290.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
Demonstrated poise, presence, pocket awareness that really belies his freshman status. He's completed over 50% of his passes and given Hodgson primarily a team with a great ground game, an effective way to get the ball to their athletes in space. If he continues to develop at his current pace, he'll be a weapon for this team for Coach Moffitt for years to come. However, due to that injury he sustained last week, he will not play, as you said tonight, which means the offense will be in the hands of junior Michael Sanchez. Talked to one of the Hodgson coaches before the game. He said Sanchez is a great athlete. He can make the throws. He can run the ball. He has played in backup duty in the first 2 games. He hasn't completed a pass. He's only 0 for 1, but he has racked up 74 yards on the ground in 13 carries.
And so in is Sanchez, out is Kurt Henry. We wish Kurt Henry the best. Looked good on film, as you mentioned. It would be a shame for him to not get to play his freshman year. In the backfield, there's a 3-headed monster backfield, as we like to call it. It starts with Fred Wiggins. When he's not touching the ball, it's usually Darius Hale and Nazir Billups, especially with Sanchez now under center.
Most teams are thrilled if they have one back who can carry the load, a Bam Roberts type at Concord. Hodgson has an embarrassment of riches with these 3. Watch them on film. First of all, these trios accounted for all of Hodgson's rushing TDs this season with in that Silver Eagles offensive huddle. They've gotten off to a great start offensively. They really got last week against Howard. Interesting to keep it going against Newark tonight.
Well, and they're going to surround on even more, as I mentioned, without Sanchez field coming in and subbing in. Hodgson lost their coach. Travel down and you lose. Pick up a win against a team that you should beat, but a good Howard team.
That's right. And, whereas many teams around the state these days, you look at Smyrna, you look at Middletown, they're spreading out their offensive formations. Hodgson and Coach Moffitt remain one of those throwbacks that packs everyone in fairly tight. When you do that, you're relying on dominant line play to open holes and create running lanes. However, if you're not winning the line of scrimmage, you now have a situation where your opponent has 11 guys in close proximity to the ball carrier. That's what happened to Hodgson in Game 1 against a very big, very physical Sussex Central team. However, they were able to reestablish dominance of the line of scrimmage against Howard, allowing the Silver Eagles backs to just gash the Wildcats all game long. Unfortunately for Newark tonight, what we saw on tape this week suggests that Hodgson will enjoy a big advantage when it comes to line play.
Hodgson coached by Frank Moffitt Jr. in his 15th year. He played high school football here in Delaware down at Caesar Rodney High School. His son, Frank Moffitt, don't want to assume it's a third, but as a junior it might be. Newark High is Barry Zender. He's in his 2nd season. He also played at the second-year head coach for Newark, trying to get back the tradition, as they call it. What's it going to take, Marty, to get back to the tradition? Newark has won 10 in the Newark Post this week. But anyway, Newark has not been in the playoffs since 2011, and they've only had one winning season since then, and that was when they were 6-4 in 2014.
It's going to take a lot of time, patience, and support from the Newark fan base to allow Coach Zender an opportunity to implement his vision for this program. And on that last point about support, as we look out the window here tonight, there is a great crowd rolling in here.
A lot of
yellow. The stands are filling up very quickly. This Newark team is a young one, but one that's benefiting from great experience of guys getting to play early on in their high school careers. And also, as you mentioned, with Coach Nagy and Coach Zender, some great coaching. If Coach Zender can keep turnover to a minimum, both on his staff and on his team, he really does have a chance to build this team back into one that's competitive, not only in Flight A, but possibly statewide as well.
It kind of reminds me of when Lisa Sullivan took over Mount Pleasant, the Green Knights in basketball. I was trying to think of a football example, and I really couldn't. Maybe you can come up with one. But Lisa didn't have to take over a great program with a tradition. She just had to take over a Mount Pleasant basketball team without much of a tradition at all, other than one state championship back right when they started doing state championships. And it took time, and it took effort, and it took discipline, and it took excusing a few players from the team that would have never been excused from that team before, and now she's got them in the playoffs every single year and vying for state championships. Let's hope for Newark's sake, because like you said, it is a great tradition here. It's a great crowd here tonight for their home opener. Let's hope they get back where they were at one point. All right, another three-headed monster on this Newark team, but unlike the Hodgson one, this one is a young one. Quarterback Malay Stallings, only a sophomore. Running back Joe Hodges, another sophomore. And wide receiver Tabari Wright, only a freshman.
if you're a Newark fan, those are the names you need to familiarize yourself with. They're young, they're talented, and they're exciting to watch. Stallings, when he gets an opportunity, has shown a strong and accurate arm, and he's athletic enough to get outside the pocket and make things happen with his legs. The problem is he's had a hard time gaining time in that backfield as the offensive line has been overrun in their first two matchups. Hodges is a kid who can burst through a hole with great speed, but also shown that he can lower his shoulder and fight for that extra yard. There's a couple times on tape where he's actually just splattered some defensive backs as he runs down the field. Wide receiver Tabari Wright is a wiry kid who possesses great speed on the outside, though to this point, because of the offensive struggles, he really hasn't gotten many opportunities to stretch the field. One area where Wright has really shown, however, is in the punt game. When we watched the tape of Newark last week, if the fans who were at that game, if you saw the game versus Concord, you saw Wright demonstrate an amazing ability to get off good, quick punts while facing an enormous rush each time. There were several times I thought he was certainly going to get his punt block, and he got everyone away.
It's not good when your punter's getting a lot of action.
No, it's
but
not.
Tabari Wright is getting a lot of action, and because of the game that he had against in that first game against St. Mark's, he was named the special teams captain last week, something Barry Zender and the coaching staff do every week is they name an extra captain to be the special teams captain. It was Tabari Wright. Based on what we saw, it could very well be him again tonight. All right, Newark's been blown out twice. 27 penalties for 232 yards. Their only score was a late, really meaningless touchdown in that St. Mark's game.
You know, as I mentioned earlier, it's been an immense struggle for this young Yellow Jacket squad. They have, to put this in perspective, they have only 21 more total yards than they've accumulated in penalty yards this season. They've had multiple issues getting lined up. The result has been an avalanche of pre-snap penalties. Against Concord, they were forced to use 2 first-quarter timeouts to address personnel issues. All in all, they look very much like exactly what they are, a young, inexperienced team. However, what we've also seen on tape is a team with no quit, a lot of heart, and a lot of effort. If Coach Zender can get these kids to stay the course, the future could be much brighter in Newark.
Smoke comes out of the hive, and the Newark Yellow Jackets are running onto the field to our left. And what you need is a motivation to pick up that first win, and they may get it here tonight. The stands are full of yellow. It's time for the DFRC seniors to watch. DFRC, the Delaware Foundation, reaching citizens with intellectual disabilities. Mark your calendars for the 2018 DFRC Blue Gold All-Star Game on June 23rd. Visit dfrc.org. For Hodgson, it's seniors Vaughn Wood and Jalik Hayward. Vaughn is a 4-year starter getting interest from Delaware State, Morgan State, and Bryant. Jalik is a 3-year starter. He's getting interest from Virginia Tech, Boston College, and Syracuse. For Newark, our senior to watch is Michael Earl, this defensive linebacker and tight end, and he is on our schedule poster, as is Vaughn Wood. Congratulations to all 3 players for being selected as DFRC seniors to watch. It is now time for the Arby's weekly picks. Arby's, we've got the meats, and on the News Journal poll that I'm involved in for this game, Brad Myers has picked Hodgson, Matt Callan has picked Hodgson, and Jason Doc Levine has picked Hodgson. I will review my pick in just a minute. Marty, your thoughts on tonight's game?
I'm going to make it 4 for the first 4 on Hodgson. I just think this being their first Flight A game, they want to forcefully announce their presence in this conference. They're coming off a great win over a D2 rival in Howard. I think it's all Hodgson tonight, 41, Newark 6.
I'm going to make it 6 straight for the picks tonight, going also with Newark. I'm going to say, or with Hodgson. I'm sorry. I think Newark's offense gets on track. I think they score a couple times here at home, but it's still not going to be enough. I'm going Hodgson 35, Newark 12. All right, when we come back, we'll take a look at some of the big games, on tap for this week. You're listening to the pregame show leading up to the Week 3 matchup between Hodgson and Newark here on Fox Sports 1290 and streaming live on 302 Sports.
There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No 2 dreams are the same.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Achieve theirs at unbound.org.
Okay, are you hearing anything?
I am, yep. Nope. Now I'm not. I'm hearing you. That's it.
Brought to you by Mazzola Construction, Newark and the surrounding area's premier stonemason pros, specializing in patios, pool decks,
still anything?
pits, fireplaces, decorative walls, retaining walls,
okay, cool.
masonry, barbecues, and much more. Reach them at 302-738-6808 or see their work online at mazzolainc.com. That's Mazzola Construction. They can also be found online at trustedbusinesspages.com.
Dirty cleats, chocolate, juice boxes, that's life. A carpet that resists all that and more, that's life proof, only from the Home Depot. It has advanced steam-proof technology woven in to resist whatever life throws at it or on it for years. And a guaranteed low price that covers any budget. Beautifully. Visit HomeDepot.com/lifeproof to learn more or visit a store to schedule a measure today. Lifeproof carpet, only at the Home Depot. Or save, or delay, or something.
Delaware High School Football Game of the Week pregame show on Fox Sports 1290. Delaware Sports play here.
Welcome back to Hodgson. Are at midfield getting ready to toss the coin to see who is going to select whether they want the ball or to defer. 3 captains out for Hodgson, 5 for the Newark Yellow Jackets here at Hoffman Stadium. It's a yellow out. Newark has won the toss, and they had deferred until the second half. So a good start for the 0-2 Yellow Jackets going up against the 1-1 Hodgson Silver Eagles. And, Marty, let's take a couple of the games I wanted to take a look at. We've really discussed already. William Penn at Cesar Rodney, almost a must-win for William Penn. Woodbridge at Wilmington Friends, kind of a toss-up. And then the Smyrna against Irvington, New Jersey. Basically a meaningless game for Smyrna because of the fact that they just need to win the Henlopen Conference Championship and get into the playoffs. But Indian River and St. Mark's is a game that's going on up the road tonight. St. Mark's is 1-1. Indian River is 1-1. Could be a pivotal game come Division II playoff time when they assign the points.
I agree. I think this almost is a de facto elimination game between these two teams. One of them is going to be off to a very rough 1-2 start. Indian River had that great start to the season. St. Mark's got bombed by Caravel last week. Whoever comes out of this has a shot. All
right, they're getting ready to play the national anthem here. When we come back, it's kickoff between Newark High and the Hodgson Silver Eagles on Fox Sports 1290.
It's the number of adults who take on the role of caring for us. Most family caregivers don't see themselves as caregivers at all, but simply as daughters, sons, parents, and spouses, doing what any loving family member would do. If this is you, then you know the feeling of doing all you can, day in, day out, and still thinking it's not enough. In fact, you can do more for your loved one, but you can't do it alone. Chances are there are organizations right in your own neighborhood that can offer just the help you need to help you do your best. A great first step is to visit Family Caregiving 101. This nonprofit website is a gateway to a whole world of support, service, custodians, nurses. That's Family Caregiving 101.
Just a few of the education
service message from the National Family Caregivers Association and the National Alliance for Caregivers.
This is Mike Matthews,
with generous support from
State Education Association. Ensure that our students have a safe ride to school, healthy meals, and a clean environment to learn. So take a moment to say thank you to the ESPs in your school.
A message from the Delaware State Education Association.
There be a team in San Diego. If there's it's viable, they could put a team back in San Diego. I think the camp would strongly consider it. There is talk, at least partially, to move the Chargers back to San Diego. Look, I talked to people in the Chargers today, and they're like 0.0% chance we move back to San Diego. It ain't happening. San Diego is like John Cusack and Say Anything with the boombox outside, right? They're not going back. The San Diego thing's not happening. They're not going back. The small crowds are problematic. You know what's more problematic? That they lost the game to the Dolphins they should have won.
The Doug Gottlieb Show.
He's good. He really is.
Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific.
And I'm really glad that he did, because we've had a great time riding.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more George Strait and all your favorite artists.
Here's what you missed on the Steve Gorman Show.
Tom Brady does not have Julian Edelman for the season. Now, you remember R.J. Bell from pregame.com on Friday told us the Patriots would be favorites to win the Super Bowl in Vegas if they didn't have Tom Brady. Right. If it was Janine Garoppolo was playing, they would be still the Super Bowl favorites. So losing Edelman does nothing for Vegas's theories.
The Steve Gorman Show, weekday evenings 6 to 8 on Fox Sports 1290. Delaware Sports Play here.
Delaware football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290. Delaware Sports Play here.
Welcome back to Hoffman Stadium here on the Newark High Campus. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan, Ronnie Vickers back in, and Nick Halliday here. I was waiting to hear just to confirm that Newark did win the coin toss, and they have deferred, and they will then kick off to start the first half here. It's a 75-degree day. There's very, very little wind. It's actually not bad. We were afraid it was going to be really hot in this renovated press box. It is not. They actually put windows in the front, and they put windows in the back, so the air is blowing through. Hodgson missed the playoffs last year for the first time in 5 years. They've won 3 state championships. As I mentioned earlier, they're coached by Frank Moffitt Jr. in his 15th year. Newark, once a Division I powerhouse, has not been to the playoffs since 2011 when Taylor Reynolds, Xavier Griffin, and David Greenwich led them to the state title game, which they jumped out to a big lead and eventually lost to Middletown. Coach Barry Zender is in his second year at his alma mater, where he played at UD along with his new offensive coordinator, Brian Ginn. Kicking off for Newark is going to be Rita Chatui, and back deep for Hodgson is going to be a plethora of return men for the Silver Eagles. Lester Coleman is back there, along with Raymond Mapp, who took most of them that we saw on film. And it's going to go over to Coleman. It's going to take a couple bounces. He's going to pick it up at the 25 to the 30, and a 35 wrapped up by a couple of tacklers down at the 37-yard line. So not a bad start for the Yellow Jackets, trying to get off to a good start to try to break into that win column for the first time all season.
No, it's a good job to kick the ball to one side, try to hem Hodgson in. They have too many athletes. You don't want them getting out into the middle of the field. So good job to start off, although not bad opening field position for Hodgson. And again, the junior quarterback Michael Sanchez getting the start tonight due to injury, so it'll be interesting to see if he can keep this offense rolling like they did last week.
And coming in, as you mentioned, is Michael Sanchez. He is in for Kurt Henry, who must have injured himself during the week, I assume, or maybe in the game. We didn't see him go out, but in that second half, the game was pretty much over. So may have gone out and just not noticed that it was an injury there. In an I formation, Sanchez has it. The give is to Wiggins, and Wiggins barrels up over the right tackle to about the 42-yard line is where they're going to make it. Going to bring up a second and about 6.
That's an interesting start right off the bat by Hodgson. We didn't see a lot of fullback sets from them last week. They usually had a split end kind of offset just from the tight end with one back. They're going with the fullback, DeMar Wallace, in there, the junior, a big kid who's leading the way.
I formation again. Sanchez is under center. Wiggins is in the tailback position, and the give is going to go to Wiggins. Wiggins gets stopped at the line of scrimmage, coughs up the ball. It's a fumble. No indication so far. Now it is. It's going to bring up a third down. Hodgson recovered it, so could have been a bad break for Hodgson there. Nice job by whoever fell on top of that. It's on the far sideline under the pile. Going to bring up a 3rd and 2.
It would have been a great break for Newark early in this game. Wiggins coughing the ball up, something I don't believe we've seen him do yet this season. So kind of interesting start. The Newark defensive line holding their own in these first 2 plays. They've allowed about 8 yards, but nothing, no gashing from this Hodgson offense yet.
Wiggins with 104 yards on 20 carries, averaging over 5 yards a game, 3 touchdowns. It's 3rd and about a 1.5. My guess is they'll give it to Wiggins. The fumble is dropped by Sanchez, or I should say the snap is dropped. Newark is indicating that they have it. The Zebras have not indicated that yet. Still haven't. And now they have. So a fumble on a 3rd down is going to give the ball to the Newark Yellow Jackets in Hodgson territory. A great break for the Yellow Jackets.
That is a great break for the Yellow Jackets. You're right. And again, kind of interesting. We didn't see Hodgson with a quarterback under center very often last week against Howard. So they have Sanchez in. They line up in the I form. And on the big 3rd down play, immediately pulls out a little too soon. Never got a hold of the snap. Big chance here for the Newark offense.
Well, and I think when you bring in a quarterback that hasn't played much, it's safer to be under center than back in the shotgun position. Malay Stallings is the quarterback. It's the high snap almost over his head. He pulls it down, and he's fighting for yardage. He's picked up 3 so far, and then he's going to be dragged backwards, but they're going to end up spotting it at the 43-yard line. So a bad snap for Newark. Not a good start on the offensive side of things.
No, and unfortunately, that's something that we saw on tape over and over and over again. A snap either being too low or off to the side or over his head, and it immediately throws off the offensive timing. that time it looked like there was a little room for Stalling off the right side, but the timing thrown off immediately by the bad snap. Hodgson's defense is too quick. They're not going to allow that hole to stay open for very long.
Stallings has run 8 times for 28 yards. Some of those runs designed, and some of them because of what we just saw. Single back is Joe Hodges. Stallings drop backs. He fires over to the sideline, has his man. That's Jermaine Earl, the freshman, makes the catch. He's going to get to the 40-yard line, bring up a 3rd down.
There you see the arm I was talking about with Stallings. That's a throw from the middle of the field to the boundary over on the left side. A nice, quick, strong, accurate throw. And bring up a 3rd and manageable for this Newark offense. They already look a little more settled down, aside from that opening snap, a little more settled down than they were last week.
So 3rd and 4. They're over on the left hash mark. They've got their all-black uniforms on and black helmets and gold numbers. Hodgson with all white and the maroon numbers. Broadcaster's dreams, Marty, as far as the numbers go here. So a big 3rd and 4 for Newark, a big confidence booster if they can pull it off. Stallings drops back, fires over to the side, and overthrows his man by about 4 feet. The throw is to number 23, and we do not have a number 23 on our roster. We'll try to get that number for you. We got these rosters today, so it must have been just left off accidentally by the coaching staff. Going to bring up a 4th down, and Newark is going to end up punting it away. It will bring on Tabari Wright, the freshman, and he's done a sensational job punting the ball. More importantly, a sensational job getting the punts off.
That's right, of avoiding the rush. And that was a difficult play there for Stallings. It's a shame. They had really good pass protection, just didn't have anybody open.
So Tabari Wright is going to kick it away. Jalik Hayward is back for Hodgson, standing on his 10-yard line. He's going to take it there, across up the middle, and he's going to get brought down by a host of tacklers at about the 20-yard line. So there is a flag down. We'll see what that's all about. If it's against Hodgson before the punt was made, it could be a 1st down. I saw the referee counting players. We'll see what that ends up being.
And again, a great job by Tabari Wright. There was a little bit of rush on him coming from both sides, but a great job.
And it was too many men on the field for Newark, so Hodgson will most likely, I would imagine, would decline that. The run back was not that bad.
No, and you know what? Here we go again with Newark with the unforced errors. We've seen the snap over Stallings' head where he had to jump up and get it. Now we've seen too many men on the field again. These are all the hallmarks of a young team that's still working to gel together.
And so Sanchez will bring his Hodgson Silver Eagle team back on the field. It'll be 1st and 10, ball on their own 19-yard line. The refs are still trying to sort this out here. Hodgson's going to head back over to the sideline to talk to their offensive coordinator. And it looks like Hodgson is going to make them punt again. So
I agree. I didn't think the return on the punt was that bad, although I will say Wright did a really nice job. It had good hang time. It did limit what Hodgson was able to do. And you understand Raymond Mapp is a great athlete. Maybe they're just trying to get him some open space, get something going here in the special teams area.
Yeah, and so now that's exactly what they've done. They've brought Mapp in instead of Hayward, and so it is more open space, like you said. I think they had the more experienced Hayward in there. Hayward is senior, and he caught the ball in traffic, which is what you want. This is going to give Mapp more of an opportunity, just the freshman, Mapp's a senior also, to catch the ball and get it in space and get his motors turning here. So not a bad decision, although now I'm looking at they get 15 yards. They marked off 15 yards from where the original.
Yes, they did.
So there must have been a penalty we didn't see. Maybe there was a second penalty that we did not see. Either way, Wright is going to get it off. Does another good job. This punt's not nearly as good. He was under a lot of pressure, lucky to get it off, and it's going to be down by Newark at the Hodgson 39-yard line before it ends up rolling. So a difference of 20 yards. So that's why we're up here and not coaching. So a nice job there by the Hodgson coaching staff. But if we had known it was 15 yards, we would have certainly said punt again.
True, and that time it was unfortunate. Again, they're getting good pressure off the edge, which is what we saw Concord do against this Newark team last week. Hodgson's doing the same thing tonight, and it's causing Wright to get it off quickly. This time, unfortunately, maybe a little panic there. He kicked it sort of straight up into the air. Yeah. At first, I thought that was going to take a big bounce backwards, but he at least did a little bit of a bounce forward. But again, a 20-yard net gain for Hodgson.
He has kicked most of his kicks this season, or punted most of his punts under a lot of pressure. So we really haven't seen the true foot of Tabari Wright. All right, the give off is to Wiggins. Wiggins get to the 41-yard line, and so it'll be a 2nd and 8 for the Silver Eagles.
Hodgson opens up this possession in the same formation they used most of last week with Kurt Henry, with Sanchez in the shotgun and Wiggins offset to his right or left, that time on the right. But again, this Newark defense doing a good job in the early going anyway of limiting any big play.
Single bat formation again. Wiggins is flanked right off. Sanchez now more in a pistol formation. Man goes in motion to the left. Sanchez rolls out to his right, trying to get it to Wiggins. He's being chased down, and now he's going to cut up over the edge and get knocked out of bounds after a pickoff of about 5. They're going to mark it at the 45-yard line, going to bring up a 3rd and about 5.
That was a great job by their star linebacker, Joseph Hodges, for Newark, who plays linebacker on defense. He did a great job of picking Wiggins up out of the backfield. That was intended to be a screen pass to Wiggins. They allowed the offensive line through as Sanchez drifted to his right, but Hodges a great job all over Wiggins to shut that down.
And so they actually moved the ball back. It went out of bounds on the far side. The referee closest to us was at the 45. They've now moved it back to the 43, going to bring up a 3rd and 6. This would be a big defensive stance for Newark if they can get it. Wiggins the lone tailback. 3 wide receivers, and it's a quick out on the jet screen, and they've got it up to the 45-yard line. That's Daniel Douglas with a nice catch and run, and I think that caught Newark off guard.
It did. The problem was there was nobody guarding Douglas in the formation. They had 2 defenders over here against 3 receivers. Douglas was all by himself. It was actually fortunate that they limited it to that instead of having this be a bigger game, but a nice job by Hodgson to recognize that and Sanchez to get the ball out quickly.
And so it's going to be a 1st down in Newark territory for the Silver Eagles. Their first trip into Newark territory, single back, and the handoff is to that single back. That's Nazir Billups getting his first carry of the game, and he's going to barely get back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like they're going to give him maybe about half a yard, bring up a 2nd and 9.
Great job by the defensive lineman, Joshua Ennis, the senior, really shed his block quickly and shut down Billups from the start there, not allowing him to get any momentum going.
They're going to call it 2nd down and 10 on the Newark 44-yard line. Wiggins the lone tailback. I'm sorry, it's Billups the lone tailback. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Sanchez in the pistol formation, and it's a jet screen to the other side now. Almost overthrows his man. That's Douglas again. He hauls the ball in and tries to battle his way back to the original line of scrimmage. Not going to happen. It's going to be a loss of 2. A great pursuit by the Newark defense.
Great job by the Newark defense. That ball was in the air a long time from Sanchez. It took a long time to get out there to Daniel Douglas, and by the time it did and it was thrown high to boot, the Newark defense was all over that. So, again, a really nice job of Newark of adjusting to what Hodgson's trying to do. Hodgson is using some different formations. We didn't see a lot of 3-receiver sets with them all set to one side of the formation on tape last week.
3 wide receivers out to the left. Again, Billups is the lone tailback. He's flanked off to the left of Sanchez in the pistol formation, moving right to left, and it's a fake, and they've got wide open his map. He hauls it in at the 20 and gets knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Knocked out by Jermaine Earl, and he was as wide open as you can be.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Trevion Holly, the senior defensive back for Newark, I'm not sure if he bit on that move or not, but there was no one trailing Raymond Mapp there as he got out into the formation. A better throw there for Michael Sanchez, and that's an easy 6 points for Hodgson.
Yeah, and give Mapp credit. He waited for that ball to come in.
He did a
used
nice
his hand
job,
to catch
yes.
it. That's where you can get distracted or worried about getting hit hard, and he didn't. He held on to it. 1st and 10. Hodgson on the 15-yard line, knocking on the door, and the man in motion, that's Simeon Smith, and he's trying to get around the right side after the handoff and gets knocked down after a pickup of about 8. Going to bring up a 2nd and 2 from the 9-yard line, looks like.
Hodgson showing different looks again. A little jet sweep there from Simeon Smith to the right side of the formation. Did a nice job of cutting the corner there and getting all he could, bringing up 2nd and short for this Hodgson team.
Looks like it's going to be 2nd and 3. They ended up marking the ball just on the other side of the 10-yard line, so at about 9.5 for the Silver Eagles. And in at the running back position is Darius Hale. He's flanked off to the right, and it is Mapp on the other side. The give is to Sanchez, or I should say the keeper is Sanchez, and he's going to get his way up over the right side to the 2-yard line. Going to bring up a 2nd and goal.
Sanchez a good job there finding the soft spot in the middle of that defense. It actually looked like he was going to go in for the touchdown. I actually thought when he left his feet, he was going to make it in the end zone. But again, that Newark defense stiffens a little bit. Now this is where it gets tough if you're a Newark defender.
On the 2-yard line, the snap goes to Sanchez. He picks it up off the ground. He keeps it, and there's a lot of pursuit by the Newark defense, led by number 68, Donald Burton. The sophomore hauls him down for a loss, and is going to take it back to the 5-yard line.
Donald Burton taking advantage of the low snap. It skidded on the ground there, making its way back to Sanchez. Again, Hodgson, the uncharacteristic mistakes we're seeing from them early on in this game, and you wonder if that's maybe due to the fact that Sanchez, is in there, quarterback. I'm guessing he probably didn't get a lot of first-team snaps during the fall.
No, so it's going to be a second down and goal from the 5. Man goes in motion, and another fumble. That time it's on the handoff from Sanchez to Simeon Smith, and it's going to be pushed back to the 16-yard line. So just as you talk about it, Marty, another mishap in the backfield for Hodgson.
Yeah, unfortunately, they just look completely out of sync here. Sanchez almost looked like he didn't expect Smith to take the ball out of his hands. Smith ended up kind of trying to grab the ball and leading to the fumble, and all of a sudden we go from first and goal at about the 2-yard line to third and goal from the 16 here for Hodgson.
And we haven't seen Fred Wiggins this entire series yet,
haven't.
And so not sure whether he's hurt, because this is where you would think he'd be the one getting the ball. He's the leading rusher,
Yes.
104 yards on the season, 3 touchdowns. You would think that he would be the one getting the ball, especially because the starting quarterback is not.
You know what? He did have the fumble. I wonder if this is Coach Moffitt's message to him. Hold on to the football.
So Sanchez is in the shotgun formation. It is third down, goal to go from the 16. Sanchez drops back. In pursuit is Michael Earl, and they get it out on a little bit of a jailbreak screen. That's Hale who gets it in a huge hit. He runs into a wall, and that wall looked like Michael Earl from Newark, who knocks him back. I'm sorry, it was Dan Vasali, not Michael Earl. Dan Vasali, who knocked him backwards, and it's going to be down at the 2-yard line.
Wow, you're right. It looked like he ran into a brick wall at that point as Vasali just leveled him on that hit, and what looked like a sure touchdown for Hodgson. Just kind of ran into a brick wall there at the 2-yard line, and that was that.
And so Hale got to the 2-yard line and knocked backwards to the 4, and that's where they're going to mark it. Frank Moffitt is going to take a timeout. We'll take it with him. No score yet. 3:03 to play in the first quarter. Hodgson knocking on the door. Newark trying to keep him out on Fox Sports 1290.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create. Unique.
2017 high school football schedule poster. Visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. We had a poster hit by Michael Vasali, which kept Hodgson out of the end zone on Hale's carry. Hale's back in at the tailback as it is 4th and goal from the 4-yard line. Vaughn Wood goes in motion. Another dropped snap. Hale's got it, and he's down, and Newark is going to take over. So, again, 3 or 4 times in the backfield on that drive, Hodgson struggled, and Newark's going to come away with it after that turnover.
That is hard to believe. This looked like a sure touchdown once Hodgson set up at 1st and goal, but you're right, 4 of the next 5 snaps resulted in some sort of mishap in the backfield, whether it was a collision between 2 players. I believe there were 3 fumbled snaps or missed exchanges on the snaps. So a great job by this Newark defense to make sure they're just not allowing Hodgson to get in, because Hodgson is shooting themselves in the foot at this point.
And that fumble, the drop snap was a difference, Marty, because Hale still got to the half-yard line.
Yes.
Without him having to recover that ball, he's in easily. But instead, Stallings is in his own end zone on the left hash mark, moving left to right as we see it. And he fumbles, and Hodges gets it, and it's going to be a safety. There are flags thrown. I believe that was a face mask on Hodgson when they were trying to bring down Joseph Hodges, and then another flag comes in. That might be an unsportsmanlike as they separated Newark and Hodgson player. And the first one is a personal foul, the face mask against Hodgson. as I predicted, but that's only one. We'll see what that second flag is.
I think I can speak for everyone in this stadium when I say this is an absolute mess of a game so far. We have another fumbled snap, this time by Stallings of Newark. No one can seem to hold on to the football. I don't know if it's incredibly humid out on the field or not, but everybody is having a hard time. And that time, again, Hodgson shoots themselves in the foot. That's a safety. Now they take points off the board because they grabbed the face mask. Just another unforced error for the Silver Eagles team.
And then the other penalty after that was the unsportsmanlike conduct, and that is probably the penalty. It doesn't matter which they take. It's 15 yards either way.
Actually, I believe
they're taking them both because
we're going to get all 30. Yeah, this is going to be a
yep.
30-yard penalty in effect on Hodgson. So after getting down to the half-yard line, they allow Newark, who fumbled the ball in their own end zone, to now get out to their own 30 by doing nothing offensively.
So instead of a safety, it's a penalty that is going to bring the ball out to the 31-yard line. And if Frank Moffitt wasn't happy about Wiggins' fumble, he's certainly not going to be happy with whoever that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty was. 1st and 10, ball on the 31. For the Newark Dragons. Big difference, the 30-yard difference. The give is to Hodges. He's trying to work his way up the middle. He breaks a couple tackles, and then he's going to be dumped at the line of scrimmage. Amir Mitchell-Marvel in on the tackle along with a host of Silver Eagles.
You can see the athleticism of Hodges as he kind of dipped and darted there. He didn't get anything as it turned out, but just a nice job to get back to the line of scrimmage. This Hodgson defensive front has done a great job of getting penetration. They were in the Howard backfield all game last week.
So it's going to be a 2nd and 11, ball on the 30-yard line for Newark. 2:17 to play here at Hoffman Stadium in Newark. A scoreless game so far. Hodgson got close, but couldn't punch it in. Single back in the backfield for Newark. Hodgson faking blitz. Stallings has it. It's being flushed out of the pocket. He's looking deep for Earl. That's Jermaine Earl. And the ball goes out of bounds. Incomplete. Going to bring up a 3rd down.
It's a great job by James Mormon, the freshman defensive back for Hodgson. He did a great job trailing the receiver. He kept his arm on the receiver. So once Stallings motioned for the receiver to go deep down the field, he kept his arm on him. He knew where he was at all time, and Stallings forced to throw that out of bounds.
And so it's going to be still 3rd and 11 from the 30-yard line here. Couple bad snaps for both teams, but Newark especially here early on in the shotgun up over the head of Stallings. We'll see if they can get this one under control. 2 wide receivers out to the right, single back in the backfield to the right of Stallings. Stallings is backing up. Now he's going to tuck it, and he gets flushed out of the pocket, escapes a couple tackles, but he's going to be brought down from behind. Gets to about the 35-yard line, and he is in pain. He got hit hard from behind. I was just going to say I was impressed he held onto the ball, but unfortunately he is down. And so it's going to bring up a 4th down here with 1:47 to play. And so not a good thing for Newark.
No, and we should point out this is a tough kid. He has taken a beating in these first 2 weeks from St. Mark's in week 1, from Concord last week. So this is a kid who's done a really nice job of keeping himself in the game, trying to keep his team in these games. And that was really a coverage sack from this Hodgson secondary. The Newark line did a pretty good job of giving him a little bit of time to throw the ball, more than we've seen in the first 2 weeks. Unfortunately, the pocket finally broke down, and Stallings forced to take off.
All right, it looks like Stallings is going to get up, and, of course, he will have to leave the game and he is leaving under his own power. Nice hand from this crowd here. A good showing of crowd here, decked out in the yellow T-shirts they were giving away to raise the money for the childhood cancer. Stallings looks like he's going to be just fine. They'll, of course, take a look and make sure that that is the case. But into punt will be Tabari Wright, and dropping back for Hudson will be Raymond Matt. He'll be at about the 40-yard line. It's 4th and 6. Ball on the 35 here. We'll see what Tabari Wright can do. And it looks like referee's stopping the game on the other side. Not sure they have timeout. So Hodgson's going to take a timeout. We'll take it with him before the punt. 1:37 to play here in the first quarter. Scoreless game between Newark and Hodgson here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
Live, go to 302sports.com. Each week, we will be live streaming high school sport events to our 302 Sports YouTube channel. Go to our homepage and click live stream to join our 302 Sports channel to see our upcoming schedule. What are you waiting for? Join today for the best coverage of high school sports in Delaware. 302 Sports. Don't miss the action. All Delaware, all sports. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 302 Sports.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290.
It's a scoreless tie here at Hoffman Stadium on the Newark High campus as the Yellow Jackets get ready to punt it away. Weren't able to take advantage of back-to-back face mask and unsportsmanlike penalties that brought the ball out to the 31-yard line, and they will be punting it away from their 35. Tabari Wright gets it away under a lot of pressure. Mapp is going to fair catch it. He got it. Nope, he got it. I don't know. Flag
That's
called.
That's going to be interference on Newark.
I didn't see him make the motion, and he reacted to the fumble as if he didn't make the motion, but the ref threw the flag right away, so that is going to be interference and not a fumble, and it will stay Hodgson ball. Right now the ball is marked at the 46-yard line. That will change after they mark this penalty off.
Yes, and we've got James Mormon, the freshman wideout and DB, down on the field for Hodgson right now as the medical staff comes out to check him.
And so a couple injuries here on, it's not, these aren't cramps, unfortunately, because I say unfortunately because then they recover quickly from that. Stallings, who walked off under his own power at the last series a couple plays ago, he is up and looks like he's ready to come back into the game. Now, he also does play defense. It'll be interesting to see if they put him in on the defensive side of the ball, but it's Lester Coleman, as you said, just a freshman, in on the special teams there. The Hodgson staff is out looking at him. He is up, and it looks like he's going to be able to walk off pretty much on his own power. It looks like a leg injury of some sort. All right, don't forget to tune in to the Blue Hens Football Coaches Show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock on 94.7 WDSD as the voice of the Blue Hens. Scott Klatskin talks UD football with head coach Danny Rocco at Klondike Kate's on Main Street in Newark. The Hens, of course, are off this week after that win last week against Colgate. They come into game number 4, 2-1. Tough contest next week against the defending national champion, James Madison, who everybody predicts is going to be right there in the thick of things again. At 3:30 start, tune in to WDSD to hear Scott Klatskin and Matt Janis call all the action starting at 2:30.
And that's a huge penalty, by the way. In high school, that's a 15-yard penalty for kick-catch interference. So Hodgson starting inside the 40.
Sanchez, and it's a quick out to Hale. Hale catches it at the 42-yard line, works his way up to about the 31-yard line. Minute 20 to play here. He's going to bring up a second, and it looks like about 7.
Now, that was a better job of Sanchez getting the ball out there. We saw a good exchange on the snap. We saw him get the ball out to Hale very quickly. Hale cut it upfield. Short gain of 3, but at this point, if you're Coach Moffitt, you're just looking for some consistent offensive execution after this horrid start for the Silver Eagles.
And they moved the ball, but they've been moving the ball by fumbling snaps and fumbling the ball. Wiggins still not back in the game.
No.
Not sure if he's hurt or being disciplined for the fumble. The snap is right back to Sanchez. He works his way through the line to the linebackers and gets taken down about the 33-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about Sanchez, when he takes these snaps, he's almost coming forward as soon as he gets it. He doesn't give the line any time to form any holes. He already decides where he's going. Doesn't really allow any time to adjust for what his offensive line may be able to open up for him, and it really limits what he can do at the end of that play.
21 seconds to play here in the scoreless first quarter, and it looks like they may try to see if they can click this off until the end. If they don't, now the referee's just putting his arm up for the 10-second signal, and it's under 10. So I assume it is going to go ahead and it's going to click off. So that is going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. Here at Newark, it's scoreless, 0-0 between the Yellow Jackets and the Hodgson Silver Eagles. You're listening to the Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports.
American Spirit Federal Credit Union brings you Kasasa. What's Kasasa? It's a catchy word for earning cash that just might make you want to dance. Get paid for doing simple things you do anyway. That's free Kasasa checking. As for Kasasa by name at American Spirit Federal Credit Union.
Welcome back to the Delaware High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290.
John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. It's scoreless here at Newark High. The Yellow Jackets 0 and the Hodgson Silver Eagles 0. And Marty, I'm not sure anybody thought this game would be scoreless, and I don't think anybody thought that Hodgson wouldn't have at least a 1-touchdown lead, if not 2-touchdown lead. So Newark's coming out better than people expected, including you and me.
I agree. The sloppiness of this game has totally played into Newark's hands. The young guys, the longer they can keep this thing close, the better a chance they have of putting something together at some point. Hodgson, I don't know if this is a case of they came in maybe a little overconfident. I know Coach Moffitt has been great over the years about making sure his guys don't play down to the competition, but it's been a really rough start for the Silver Eagles.
Alrighty, so the Silver Eagles are going to come in at the 33-yard line of Newark. The ball is a little bit to the right of the left hash mark. I formation for the Silver Eagles, and the give is to Hale, and Hale picks up the first down and more to the 20, dragged down at about the 19-yard line, so a big first down for the Silver Eagles.
A great job by the Hodgson offensive line there. Just totally got to the second level almost right off the bat. Got a great push off of the snap. Hale doing a great job picking his way there. He found the hole quickly, burst right through it, and the first really big gain for Hodgson tonight.
Moffitt says it's his lines on both sides of the ball that is the power of this team, and we saw it right there. So first down on the 19 to give us to Hale again. This time over the left tackle, gets tripped up, stays on his feet, and dragged down by the shoestrings. That was a nice game and touchdown. Saving tackle by Stephen Casella. Stumbled on my words there.
Hale, a really good job. He's kind of low to the ground. He does a great job of keeping his balance. That's twice now we saw him kind of get bounced around, keep his footing as he went off the right side, or the left side there. Got pinballed a little bit, but a good job to keep his feet. And all of a sudden, Hodgson is down to the 2 again, where they had some problems last time.
They did. I formation. Hale is the tailback in at is 34. Dymere Wallace at the fullback position. He's going to try to lead the block, and Hale gets stopped at the line of scrimmage and fights for yardage, and is going to get to about the 1-yard line. So a nice defensive effort by the Yellow Jackets to keep Hale out there.
And in this case, one of the things we saw Hodgson do a number of times last year was run a real quick quarterback sneak with their great offensive line. I'd love to see them try something like that, only because they've had so many problems with the snap and with some problems in the offensive backfield. Be interesting to see if they just try to punch this in real quickly.
Well, Moffitt has put Sanchez back under center, where the chances of a fumble are less, even though he has fumbled from that position. And it looks like a referee is going to call a timeout here. It looks like they're fixing a chin strap there on Michael Earl's helmet. He'll stay in the game, and Hodgson is ready to go. It is first and goal, ball on the 2-yard line, and did just what you said, Marty. Sanchez keeps it and tumbles into the end zone for the score.
Yeah, that Hodgson offensive line, when they get going, they're a strong, powerful bunch. They go low on their blocks. That's just what the doctor ordered for the Silver Eagle offense, although, of course, we can't get through a play like this without a flag. It was just announced we have a flag on the play, so we'll sort that out.
That was Mark Friedley's voice you hear in our crowd mic. 30th year as the public address announcer. It is a personal foul against Newark, so the touchdown will count. I assume they will mark that off on the kickoff, most likely. And so in to kick the extra point is Josue Avila Lopez, and it is Ray Mapp on the hold.
Josue is, sorry about that, John. Josue is 1 of 4 on extra points on the season.
And the snap is back. The hold is down. The kick is up, and we have a flag before the kick.
The kick was no good, but we did have a flag on the play.
Whistle blew before the snap, so we'll see. Usually that is a penalty against the offense.
Flag on the play.
And it is. It's going to be illegal motion, so they will try that again. Third penalty.
And again, we're continuing the trend. We saw the 15-yard penalty on Newark, which will be assessed on the kickoff. They're kind of continuing their trend of any offensive yards they get, they sort of offset with penalty yardage thus far this season. It's been a real struggle. And now we've got another penalty on Hodgson, which I believe is going to be a personnel. Yeah. They're having the toughest time just getting things organized on that sideline tonight for Hodgson. I think you can pretty much cancel the field goal. It's only a warning at this point, so there won't be a penalty. So Hernandez will still get another chance at this.
Well, and I guess they're trying to crack down on that. I mean, the Hodgson coaches, there were 3 of them on the field, but they weren't way down on the field. And I'm sure they were warned. I'll give the credit to the ref. I'm sure they were warned probably twice. And they didn't move, so they are trying to crack down on that, and they did here right now. So Ray Mapp is going to be kneeling at the 15-yard line, and the kick again will be by Josue Lopez. And the refs are getting themselves back in position. 10:38 to play. Hodgson is on the scoreboard first, 6-0 over the Newark Yellow Jackets after a touchdown, which seemed like it happened about 15 minutes ago, Marty.
That's right. And, John, this continues our trend. We've seen some thick kickers this year.
We have. The kick is up, and it is good.
Wow.
So with 10:38 to play in the first half, the score is Hodgson 7, Newark 0. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports.
Close with Fan Appreciation Weekend, beginning Friday when the Birds host the Tampa Bay Rays. On Friday, enjoy post-game fireworks. Then on Saturday, all fans 15 and over will receive an Orioles hooded sweatshirt. The regular season wraps Sunday. All fans 14 and under will receive an Oriole Bird bobblehead toothbrush presented by United Concordia. Plus, all kids ages 4 to 14 run the bases, presented by the Prize Markets. For tickets, visit Orioles.com.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
6 plays, 41 yards, a 1-yard punt. Quarterback keeper by Hodgson. Quarterback Mike Sanchez gives Hodgson a 7-0 lead. 10:38 to play here in the second quarter. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan, Ronnie Vickers producing back in our studio, and a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Newark has been marked off, and so Hodgson will kick off from the 45-yard line.
That's my cousin, James Henry, kicking off for Hodgson. He's the brother of current UD redshirt freshman Mickey Henry and the son of Pat Henry, one of the offensive assistants here under Coach Moffitt.
We had a nice conversation with Pat here in the booth before he went upstairs to this newly renovated press box. The kick is away, and it's going to land at about the 20-yard line, and Newark touches it. And then the ball is fumbled. We'll see whether they have possession or not. Barry Zender is saying it's out, but they are giving the ball to Hodgson. And in on that pickup was Darius Hale, the heads-up play to pick it up. Barry Zender is still arguing that the ball was not controlled until it hit the sideline. One of those plays they would review if
Absolutely.
they could, but they can't.
He took the words right out of my mouth. That was so close where the Hodgson player tried to gain possession just as his arm was hitting the out-of-bounds stripe at about the 24-yard line. It was one of those cases where the kick was off a little bit. It was off to the right. It only went about 20 yards in the air, but Newark was very slow to react to it. It took an odd bounce once it hit the ground, and Hodgson was able to motor down the field and put themselves in a position to get that recovery.
And so the ball is going to be on the 23-yard line. And it's Simeon that goes in motion from left to right, and he breaks a couple tackles, gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe picks up a yard. Simeon Smith, the senior.
Very slow developing play there for Hodgson. Sanchez gave the handoff to Smith about 8-9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The Newark defense, a really good job trailing that. And by the time there was any opening for Smith to get to, the Newark defense had converged and closed any hole.
So both teams have a fumble. The one that Wiggins had for Hodgson didn't result in anything. We'll see if the Silver Eagles are able to take advantage of the fumble on that kickoff by Newark. Single back, Simeon Smith goes in motion. The same play gives to him around the left side. He cuts it back up, almost gets to the 15-yard line, which is where he needed to get. Looks like he's going to be about a half-yard shy of the first down.
That time, a perfectly executed jet sweep by Hodgson. Sanchez took a perfect snap, handed it off to Smith, who was coming around from the wide-out position on the right side in stride. He cuts the corner around the left side and gets down to about a third and very short here, manageable for Hodgson.
3rd and 1, 2-down situation here. I don't think their field goal kicker can make it from where he would have to be. It would be about a 35-yard field goal. So 2-down situation here. Got the I formation. Demir Wallace is the up back. Hale is the tailback. One wide receiver. That's Map out to the right. And the give is up the middle to Hale. And he's plunging forward. Escapes one tackle. Flag comes in. We'll see what that's all about. It's going to be a first down if the play stands.
Hale is such a strong kid. He and that Hodgson offensive line just bulled the Newark defensive line, which stood him up about 5 more yards past where he was stopped. Now we have a sideline warning that results in a penalty this time for Hodgson. So whatever's going on that Hodgson sideline is not making these officials happy. Unbelievably, the Hodgson sideline doesn't appear to be moving at all. No. So whatever this is being called, they're not tending to make any big adjustments.
Yeah. Well, they don't want another 15 yards.
No, they don't. So now Coach Moffitt is actually throwing up his arms like, what? I'm not sure what the call is here. So we'll finally get this straightened out. But again, another case of Hodgson shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, and you blame that one on the coaches.
You do,
you can't
absolutely.
argue about the players.
100%.
They were not even close to the sideline. What is confusing is the back judge threw the flag.
Yes.
Maybe he saw it through the line. I'm not sure. But either way, it's going to be 3rd and 4, 5-yard penalty after the sideline warning after the play. And the give, actually, no. Sanchez is going to back up. Another flag. This ball's going in the end of the end zone. A diving attempt by Daniel Douglas out of the left corner is no good. But, again, a flag on the play, illegal motion. So it'll be interesting to see whether they decline this penalty because it would bring up a 4th down or whether they push him back another 5 yards.
That's true. I'm guessing Coach Zender is going to push them back only because it would still leave a pretty manageable 4th down situation. By the way, back to that play, Douglas laid flat out for that ball. A really nice job. Sanchez just a little needed to put a tad bit more air on that, but really, all in all, that was a well-executed play, just a tad bit out of Douglas's grasp.
So the 5th penalty for Hodgson, and Barry Zender, as you predicted, Marty, is going to push him back, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 9. You're still in 2-down territory.
You are, absolutely.
But what you've done now is you've created a situation where I think you can guess they might try to pass here, but they haven't had trouble picking up 4 or 5 yards at a time. And so 2 plays, you pick up the 5 yards, and you got a first down. So we'll see what they do. Hale is going to be the lone back in the backfield. Sanchez now back in the shotgun position for the first time on this drive that I can recall. He's going to drop back, and he is going to try to pass, and it's a little screen out to Hale on the left side, and Hale's got the first down, but another flag comes in this time from the back judge.
Yeah, this time we're going to get holding on Newark in the backfield. Yeah, there was some grabbing going on of the wide receivers for Hodgson that were out in the formation, although it looks like it's hard to tell who they're calling this on yet, but yeah, we can't seem to get through a play without seeing a flag here.
8:35 to play. Hodgson with a 7-0 lead, and it looks like a hold
on
against
Hodgson. Wow.
So Newark certainly will take that and march them back because it would have been a first down otherwise. So the 6th penalty for Hodgson, according to my stats here in this first half. 8:35 to play in a second quarter after a fast first quarter, Marty. The second quarter feels like it's been about 2 quarters long.
It does, and the back judge can't seem to keep the flag in his pants here, but not to say that none of these are justified at all. But, yeah, there just seems to be one flag for another coming from the back of the end zone here. And Hodgson, again, this is so uncharacteristic. Anyone who's seen Hodgson play last year, the last few years under Coach Moffitt, they're usually a very disciplined club. They've played very clean throughout this year, but they are just killing themselves with penalties and mishaps tonight.
Newark, on the other hand, only 2 penalties, and they came in averaging about 13 a game with a total of 27. 3rd and 9. Ball is on the 23-yard line. And Sanchez drops back. He's looking deep into the end zone and overthrows his receiver. He was trying to hit Daniel Douglas. Nice coverage out there by Newark. Number 23, and also, Malay Stallings. Good to see Stallings back in the game. That means he's healthy. Nice coverage by him. Going to bring up 4th and 9.
Yeah, the quarterback, Malay Stallings, does a nice job in the defensive backfield for Newark. He's actually, the last couple of weeks, been playing 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. So he's a tough kid, but great job of coverage out in the end zone there. There wasn't much room for the receivers to operate in the corner. Newark, a really nice job of shutting that down. But, again, they're going to go for it, 4th and 9 here.
4th and 9. Hale is the lone back, along with Sanchez, flanked off to his right. 2 wide receivers to the right. Map goes in motion, left to right. And Sanchez is going to roll out to this side. He gets rushed. He throws it into the end zone. It's a jump ball and incomplete. Once again, they were trying to get it to Daniel Douglas, and that was Stallings in on the defense. So turnover on downs, a huge defensive stance, albeit it was more of lack of offense execution and penalties, but still huge for Newark to come off the field.
And that last play right there, Newark really laid the hit on Sanchez as he got rid of that ball. Clean hit, but enough in his face to kind of throw that off, and a good job of the Newark DBs playing the Hodgson wide receivers tight in the end zone, not allowing any openings. So a good job, combination there of Newark defense, but as you said, more a lack of execution from Hodgson and just mistake after mistake from the Silver Eagles.
And so Stallings has Hodges flanked off to his right. 7:58 to play. Newark trails 7-0, a high snap, but Stallings pulls it down. Looks like it was a design quarterback keeper. He gets around the right side, picks up the first down, and so a nice run there by Stallings, pulling down the snap and then making something out of it.
When he's operating as his best, that's what we've seen. You want to see a little better snap than that, but even given the high snap, he was able to turn on the jets and get around the right side of the formation to pick up a a Newark first down, which I believe may be one of the first downs they've had tonight. There hasn't been many.
No, they may have had a couple in that first quarter, but either way, it's a 1st and 10 on the 35, 7:51 to play. Hodgson with a 7-0 lead in what is the first ever Flight A battle between these two schools, with Hodgson moving up. The give is to Hodges, and Hodges gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss of 1. Karan Tucker among several Hodgson Silver Eagles in on the tackle.
In that backfield, Hodgson is going to be super focused on Joe Hodges. He's the explosive runner back there, and if Stallings doesn't keep it, you almost know that Hodges is getting the ball. So Hodgson is focusing on him regardless of where the play ends up going. They have a guy who's focusing on Hodges in that backfield, so good job by Hodgson to shut him down.
7 returning starters from a Newark team that was 3-7 last year. Their wins came against Mount Pleasant Charter School of Wilmington and Del Castle. 2nd and 11 from the 34. Stallings drop backs, throws a slant pattern, and the ball hit the ground. Missed timing there. He was trying to hit number 23. He's the phantom player who we don't have a number on or a name for.
And Stallings drilled there by Amir Mitchell Marville, the sophomore defensive lineman for Hodgson. So some pressure there at the end of the play. Stallings continues to take a beating in there. And again, you saw the arm there, although it was nowhere near being complete. It was more the pressure from Hodgson that caused that off-kilter throw.
And Stallings shaking up a little bit. He's staying in, but you can tell he's in a little bit of pain. He's
Yes.
a tough player. That's why he's in there. Hodges is in. We'll see if Hodges can play quarterback. In fact, we saw him play quarterback on film. Coach
Yes.
Barry's told me we would probably see him at quarterback at some point, but right now he is still flanked off to Stallings' right. 2 wide receivers out to the left, 1 to the right on the short side of the field. Farthest from us, Newark's moving right to left. Stallings drops back, and he's just crushed, and there's nothing he could do about that. He had 4 white shirts on top of him at the 25-yard line.
Now, that's what you would call an avalanche of white coming at you. The Hodgson defensive line just completely overwhelmed the offensive line for Newark. Stallings, just no time to set up and look downfield, just buried under the 4 Hodgson defenders.
And so it's going to bring a 4th and 11. So the fantastic effort by the Newark defense didn't turn into anything on the offensive side. Stallings had that first down run of about 10 yards on the first play, and after that they pretty much went backwards. Wright is kicking it from his own 12-yard line, almost blocked. He actually had to shorten up his punt a little bit, but gets a great bounce, and it's all the way down to the 44-yard line of Hodgson. I think Ray Mapp, if he had it had to do over again, would have picked that one up and tried to return it. But either way, it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Silver Eagles. They have a 7-0 lead, 6:21 to play here. And Marty, Newark's got to pick up with another big defensive stance here.
They do. I mean, or they could just rely on Hodgson again, making all kinds of mistakes. I mean, at some point you have to figure Frank Moffitt's going to get in the heads of these kids, the ears of these kids, and get this thing straightened out. This is not going to continue all night long. At least I wouldn't expect it to. So at some point, you're right, this Newark defense is going to have to buckle down and stop Hodgson. As you said, John, earlier, we still have not seen Fred Wiggins come back in this game. He is, without question, their best back, and since that fumble, he has not been in the ball game.
I would have expected him to have at least 20 carries tonight.
Agreed.
So, I kind of hope it's for consequence reasons, because we don't want him to get hurt. And Billups gets crushed there, and big Michael Earl gets the tackle there. He's on our schedule poster, going to be pickup of about 2 after Billups would run around the right side.
Michael Earl is one tough kid. He was an all-second team Flight B last season, showing you why there as he darted through the line and put the big hit on the Hodgson ball carrier. And again, this Newark defense continues to show some life, something we didn't really see from them last week.
Well, we talked about despite being 0-2 and getting blown out basically in both games, they are still playing tough football. The give is to Mapp on the sweep on the left side, or the end around, I should say, and he gets brought out of bounds after a pickup of about 2. So another good defensive pursuit by Newark.
There you go again. A great job of stringing that play out by the Newark defense. There was just no room for Mapp. He continued along the line to the left, looking for somewhere to cut that back in, but Newark never allowed that opening. Great job to force him eventually to run out of bounds.
3rd and 7 for the Silver Eagles, moving left to right. 5 minutes to play here at Hoffman Stadium. Hodgson has a 7-0 lead on the 1-yard touchdown run by Michael Sanchez, I should say. And Hodgson is going to come up here. This is not 2-down territory like they had several times in their last possession here. Hale is the lone back, pistol formation. Map goes in motion left to right. It's a fake to Map. Billups on the other side. He's going to make a cut up and tackled at the 49. There is a flag down, most likely something against the offense.
Yes, that was a nicely designed play by Hodgson, but the flag came out almost immediately upon the snap. So this would seem to be, if not an offside on Newark, certainly some type of motion penalty, and it is a legal procedure.
And I think
Hodgson.
you decline it. I think you decline it if you're Newark, and Barry Zender is doing just
agree.
that.
I agree.
Because it's third. It's still 3rd and long. It's
Yes.
3rd and 7. And so that's going to bring up a 4th down, I should say, and 7. It's 3rd and 7 as it stood. And so instead of what would be 3rd and 12, you've made it 4th and 7. And so I don't think you change your defensive strategy a whole lot.
I agree. I'm actually kind of surprised that Coach Moffitt's not going to punt this away, only because I wouldn't want to give this Newark group any kind of momentum with 4 minutes and 30 seconds before halftime.
And Newark's done very little offensively. If you can pin them back, you've got to pretty much assume you're going to go into halftime with at least a 7-0 lead. But they are going to go for it unless they try to pull them off sides. An offside penalty would put them right at the first down mark. Map goes in motion right to left, and again they're going to run almost the reverse, but instead flushed out of the pocket of Sanchez, and he is sacked back at the 27-yard line. That is the worst case scenario.
That is the only thing you didn't want to happen outside of a turnover. I'm sure they told Sanchez, if you get in trouble, you've got to throw the ball away. He got into no man's land where he was so far from the line of scrimmage, it would have been an intentional grounding at one point anyway. That's just, to me, that's an inexperienced signal caller. He is a junior, but he's not the starting quarterback, and maybe a guy just trying to do a little bit too much. But all of a sudden, a Newark offense that hasn't been able to generate anything is set up in fantastic field position with 4 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first half.
Newark's on the 29-yard line of Hodgson. 4:15, as you said, to play here in the second quarter. Stallings is in, flanked off to his right is Steven Casella, seeing his first action of the game. And somebody took a timeout here. Did you see who it was?
I believe it was Hodgson that took this timeout.
All right, here the referee is going to call it. It is Hodgson taking their 3rd and final timeout. We're going to take our 5th and final break of the first half. There's 4:15 to play in the first half. Newark knocking on the door, trailing Hodgson 7-0 on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
At the very least of a detour, if you were traveling on that turnpike, an 80-mile detour.
The Pennsylvania Turnpike.
Yes.
A major thoroughfare in this country.
Between Newcastle, exit 10, and Cranberry, exit 28. It starts at 9 p.m. tonight and continues to 4 a.m. All I'm saying is I was in a detour.
We lost it, Ronnie. Give us a signal when it's come back.
Go ahead.
All right, we are back at Hoffman Stadium. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Hodgson has taken its 3rd and final timeout of the first half. A huge sack of 20-plus yards on Michael Sanchez on a 4th down has put the Yellow Jackets at the Hodgson 29-yard line, moving right to left. 4:15 to play. They trail 7-0. They've only scored 1 touchdown in their 2 games, trying to make it 2 here in their 3rd. Stallings is behind in the shotgun, and he throws it up, and it's picked off. It is picked off by Daniel Douglas at the 15-yard line. It gets knocked out at the 35, and now a late hit is going to be awarded or penalized to Vaughn Wood, and the Newark coaching staff is not happy with that young man right now.
No, you know what? That's just, you can't allow that to happen. And actually, John, I think this might be a personal foul on Shimko of Hodgson, who gave a shove to Mele Stallings after the play. Let's see who they call this on. What happened there? They had Steven Casella, Newark did in the backfield, who I haven't seen play a lot in the back for them. He completely missed the block on the blitzing linebacker. It left Stallings in no man's land. He had to throw that up for grabs. It gets intercepted and returned, and now we got a long discussion here at the 35-yard line about who exactly this is on.
The way Barry Zender reacted to his player, Mele Stallings, was if Stallings had caused this personal foul, but it is going to be on. It's going to be a double personal foul, so those penalties will negate. It's going to stay Hodgson ball, and it looks like they are going to. They haven't put the ball down yet, but it's going to be 4:07 left to play. So a huge mistake there by Newark.
Yeah, you just can't throw that up for grabs. And again, it really did start with the missed blitz pickup by the running back in the backfield, which put Stallings under tremendous pressure. Again, he's a young kid. You don't want to throw that up no matter what. You certainly don't want to throw it up in the middle of the field where Hodgson safeties are waiting. Right. So kind of curious to see how Hodgson approaches this now with 4 minutes. They really haven't been able to get the running game, which is what they're well known for throughout the state. They just haven't got it going. They're back to the I form here with the big fullback in front.
Well, and they're well known for the running game with Fred Wiggins in the
yes,
game, and he hasn't been in the game since that fumble in the first quarter. I formation, and the give is going to be to Hale over the left tackle, spins out of the first tackle, and then is brought down. Big number 68, Donald Burton, in on the tackle, and it's going to bring up a second and 5. The only good news for Newark is Hodgson has no timeouts left. But with 3:53 to play, it's really not into that situation yet.
And that's on Dymar Wallace, the junior fullback for Hodgson, did a really nice job setting the table in front of Hale there, who's really been the only guy who's been able to generate any kind of offense tonight for Hodgson. He comes out of the game now. They bring Sanchez is back, and they have the fullback back in, and looks like, is this Wiggins that we finally have back in the backfield?
No, I think it's Billups is in the tailback position, and that is Wallace in front of him. Wallace just moved. That's going to be another penalty against. He came out of his stance too early, so that's going to push Hodgson back again in a legal motion. That is their 7th penalty of the night, not counting the ones that offset and don't count for anything, or that Newark has declined.
No, this game is actually hard to believe how sloppy both teams are playing. It feels like the first game of a season, or actually one of the early scrimmage games in the season where teams are experimenting and still gelling, get to know one another. I am just flabbergasted at how sloppy Hodgson has been tonight after they looked so good, looked to gain so much confidence last week against Howard.
2nd and 10. Ball is on the 35-yard line. Coming out the lineup right in front of us is Daniel Douglas on the far right side. On the short side, there's a wide receiver, the I formation. The give is to Billups on the toss around the left side, and he's dragged down from behind. And that was a nice tackle there by number 15, Earl, just a freshman from Newark, getting a lot of playing time.
You're right, Jermaine Earl, the freshman from Newark, diagnosed that from the beginning. Did a great job of wrapping up the ball carrier, bring him down. Great tackle there, not trying to arm tackle up high. So really good job again by the Newark defense, bringing up Hodgson again, a third and not an easy situation, 3rd and 13.
Yeah, 3rd and 13, loss on the play. And this defensive, the defense has not given up, even though their offense has not given them any time to rest even. They are playing tough, and a lot of these guys play both ways. Stallings is in there, Hodge is in there playing both ways. Jermaine Earl just had the tackle playing both ways. Sanchez is in the pistol formation. Out to the right is Daniel Douglas, and in motion goes Billups from left to right. 2 minutes to play, and it looks like another flag. Marty, imagine that. Delay a game for Hodgson.
You know what? It actually, Billups, believe it or not, when you called that, Billups wasn't in motion. He was coming from the sideline. He had not checked into the game. They only had 10 men on the field, so I'm sure Billups is getting some icy looks here. Again, like you said, they have no timeouts left, so they can't afford any of these mistakes. They just continue again and again and again with these unforced errors, and they're letting a very young, very inexperienced Newark team hang around.
They've got a lot of negative yardage. It'd be interesting to figure out. They put the one good drive together, actually 2 good drives, one that went, one that didn't. And the give is up the middle. That's Hale. He's trying to get some of this yardage back. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. They're going to mark him at the 38-yard line, and looks like a little scuffle at the end, and a nice job by Vaughn Wood, the senior-to-be engineer, making sure his teammate didn't cause any more of a problems, went over and grabbed John Monk and brought him back to the huddle.
And again, this just feels like a nice job by Hale there to at least make this a 4th and past the line of scrimmage. We got about a 4th and 7, 4th and 8. I was going to say they cannot go for it this time in this territory. We're finally going to see the Hodgson punt unit come out. As I'm sure Frank Moffitt just wants to get out of this half.
I'm surprised that Newark did not call timeout to stop this clock. It's running with 1:22 to play. I understand he might want to save both of the ones that he has left. Actually, he might have all 3 left for when they get the ball, but I would have stopped the clock because it is just ticking away here. Valuable time, and Barry Sender looks frustrated down there. I'm not sure what about. The punt is away, and Jermaine Neal is going to let it bounce until it comes right into his hands at the 25-yard line, and then he is buried underneath, and they're going to actually give it to him at the 23-yard line where he first got it. Tackle made by Lester Coleman. So Newark is going to take over with 1 minute, 1 second to play, trailing 7-0. We'll see if they can put something together.
I'm guessing they're not going to try to do too much here, given what happened on the last possession. I'd actually be very surprised if they did more than maybe a couple screen passes or even just run the football. I think at this point, if you're Barry Zender, you maybe want to get your team in the locker room, try to settle down, regroup. You're only down by 7 points against a very good Hodgson team. They're still very much, this is anybody's ball game.
1st and 10 on the 27-yard line. All 3 timeouts left according to my stats, which of course are unofficial. Stallings is in the backfield, 2 wide receivers out to the left. He's going to keep it and run up the middle, and I'm sure he's been told to hang on to the ball, and he gets tackled after a loss of about 2. Newark making no effort to call a timeout here, so it looks like Zender will be content going in with trailing 7-0.
And poor Stallings, I'm sure he's wondering, Coach, isn't there anyone else I can let just hold on to the ball? I'm sure he wants to keep the ball in his quarterback's hand, as you said, and just make sure they kill this clock and get out of here down 7-0. And again, this is anybody's game going into the second half. The way Hodgson has played, you don't expect it to continue the second half, but you just never know. There's just something going on here tonight.
One more snap should do it. 2 wide receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. Single back formation. Stallings is in the pistol, and the handoff is up the middle, and that is Demel Robinson trying to make something out of nothing. He's going to pick up the first down, and there's going to be 10 seconds left, and it looks like Barry Zender, they're going to stop the clock for the first down, and it looks like Zender is going to be content still just to go in, not making any opportunity here. That once they get the chains moved, the clock will start. There it goes. And that is going to bring us to the end of the first half here at Hoffman Stadium. Hodgson with the lone score of the game. They lead Newark 7-0 as we roll into halftime. We're going to send it back to the studio for the IBEW Local 313 halftime report with Ronnie Vickers, and then we'll be back to talk about the first half. You're listening to the High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. Hodgson 7, Newark 0. We'll be right back.
The area's largest family-owned and operated pet supply store is proud to support Blue Hens football. Concord Pet Foods and Supplies with 28...
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005.
In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley, cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvement's pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley, cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lowest, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Go to CharlesWallaceInsurance.net.
It's hard to miss all the TV lawyer ads. Catchy slogans surround promises of maximum recovery and fighting for your rights. Hi, this is Melissa Rufo of Rufo Associates. We have decades of experience successfully handling injury claims. Our track record with auto accidents, slip and falls, and defective products cases is second to none. We let our results be our slogan. Nobody wants to need a lawyer, but if the need arises, don't take any chances. Get a strong advocate on your side. You need Rufo Associates. Visit rufolaw.com. That's RUFO law.com.
School bus drivers, custodians, nurses, paraeducators, just a few of the education support professionals who help schools in Delaware run smoothly every day. This is Mike Matthews, president of the Delaware State Education Association. Ensure that our students have a safe ride to school, healthy meals, and a clean environment to learn. So take a moment to say thank you to the ESPs in your school.
A message from the Delaware State Education Association.
American Spirit Federal Credit Union brings you Casasa. What's Casasa? It's an easy way to earn cash. No talent necessary. It's like a participation trophy that's actually worth something. You do everyday things. We reward you in cash each month. That's free Casasa check. As for Casasa by name at American Spirit Federal Credit Union.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, FoxSports1290AM.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
Welcome back to Hoffman Stadium here on the Newark High campus, where the Hodgson Silver Eagles are going to come out of the locker room at halftime with a 7-0 lead over the Newark Yellow Jackets. I'm John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Thanks to Ronnie Vickers for taking care of the halftime report back in the studio. And we are getting ready for kickoff here in the second half in what was not a pretty first half, to say the least. 9 penalties and a fumble for Hodgson, 2 penalties, a fumble, and an interception for Newark. What does not show up in those stats, Marty, is the number of missed snaps, miscues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As you said a couple times, it looked more like a preseason game than week 3 of the 2017 high school season.
It really was amazing how sloppy both teams were. Now, Newark, we'd seen them be sloppy in the first 2 weeks, and to their credit, they've done a good job of cleaning up some of the mistakes they made in those opening 2 weeks. What we weren't expecting at all is the discombobulation we've seen from a Hodgson team that looked so smooth and was firing on all cylinders last week against Howard. They've just come out tonight, and they just can't seem to establish any kind of consistent momentum at all. Once they get going down the field, they had a long drive early on in the game, and then they just completely fell apart. 4 out of 5 snaps we count. There were either fumbled snaps or there was a collision in the backfield. So all in all, just a total all-out mess of an effort from the Hodgson offense. And give credit again. We talked about the one thing that Newark possesses in spades right now is heart. They're doing a lot to fight to stay in this game. I mean, it hasn't just been all Hodgson miscues. There has been some good defensive play by Newark. And right now, aside from the fact that Newark really hasn't shown anything on offense, this really is anybody's ball game.
And they trailed St. Mark's just 6-0 at the half, week 1, and St. Mark's came out and dominated the second half. I'm sure Coach Barry Zenner reminded them of that. The lone score came at the 10:38 mark of the second quarter on a 1-yard plunge by Mike Sanchez on the quarterback keeper. It capped a 6-play, 41-yard drive that was set up by a Newark punt, one of several punts for Newark in the first half. And, you know, what hasn't helped Hodgson is the absence of their starting quarterback, Kurt Henry, who has an injury, and we knew coming into the game he was not going to play. And also Fred Wiggins, who we have not seen since a fumble that was recovered by his own team. So it technically wasn't a fumble. I referred to it as a fumble several times, but he lost the ball, I should say. And we're not sure. He's not playing in the second half. We're sure about that because he's got his number 4 jersey on, and that's it. No shoulder pads, helmet, or the his football pants. But what we don't know is whether he got injured on that play or whether the technique that he was using that caused the ball to get loose was something that Frank Moffitt was not happy about. We're not sure, and so we're not going to try to guess. But he is out of the game for the second half. He did not play after that play, which occurred in the first quarter. So basically, Hodgson has been playing since I think it was the second series of the game without their starting quarterback and without their starting and their main runner. He came into the game with over 104 yards and 3 touchdowns. So tough to execute when you're missing those key guys.
It is. Any team out there, the best teams, the worst teams, any teams that you take their top 2 offensive explosive players, in this case Kurt Henry and Wiggins, and take them out of the ball game, there's going to be some inconsistency on offense. You have guys now that maybe haven't been getting a ton of snaps with the first team that are now, you have Hale in the backfield primarily, and he's done a pretty nice job. You have Sanchez, who's been trying to work out the offensive kinks here. It kind of seems like he's almost learning on the job here, as he, again, was not the starting quarterback. But I agree with you in that I can't imagine Frank Moffitt, especially after what happened with Newark, with St. Mark's coming out in the second half, that he knows this Newark team, if you get after them quickly, he may be able to do some damage. And I'm sure he's impressed upon these guys. Look, if we can settle down and play our game, we can beat this team.
A couple out-of-town scores, Marty, you got from Twitter while we were at break?
Yeah, a couple games at halftime. St. Mark's and IR was a game we were kind of looking forward to. St. Mark's is all over Indian River, 37-6 at the half. St. George's with a 14-0 lead over Appo at the half. That's a game to get St. George's back on track. Poly and Milford, 0-0 at the half. This is a big one. CR and William Penn, 7-7 at the half.
Wow.
That's an incredible game. I'm shocked at that score. Sussex Central with a 14-0 lead over Caravel at the half, and my St. E. Vikes have started to struggle a bit, John. Delmar leads 14-0 with 5 to go in the second. Of course, we'll see my Vikes against DMA, a good DMA team, next Friday night.
Can't go any further out of the state than Delmar. That's going to be a heck of a long ride home. We, of course, have the St. Elizabeth Delaware Military Academy game next week at 7 o'clock from Baynard Stadium, a Division II matchup, which could have playoff implications, especially if St. Elizabeth falls to 1-2. All right, here, Hodgson is getting ready to kick off. Newark won the coin toss. They deferred to the second half. Hodgson is going to kick off south to north or right to left. As we see it, James Henry, the freshman, is going to be kicking off. It is Hodges that is deep in the middle, and the ball will go to him. He's going to get it on his own 6-yard line across the 15 to the 20, and he is brought down at the 20-yard line. And lo and behold, it looks like a flag is down.
Unbelievable. We managed to make it exactly 0 plays into the second half before we saw a flag.
Correction, it was a towel.
Oh, okay.
The yellow jacket
We're
towel
so used to
down.
seeing them
right.
now. That's right. That's
what
right.
a relief.
A good kickoff there by James Henry. Good deep kickoff, and then a great job on the kick coverage team by Hodgson to pin Newark back just inside the 15-yard line.
And so it's actually going to be on a 20-yard line that they're going to spot the ball. Contact was made at the 15, and he got ahead to the 20-yard line. And it is Stallworth, who is still going to be at quarterback. Hodges is flanked off to his left. Stallworth is in the pistol formation. 2 wide receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. And on the quarterback keeper around the left side, Stallworth gets hung up and drilled down, tackled by Vaughn Wood, the big outside linebacker for Hodgson.
Vaughn Wood just laying the wood there on Melee Stallings as planned quarterback keeper there for the Newark quarterback, who took actually quite a bit of punishment in that first half. Starts out the second half kind of where he ended it by taking a big shot there. Vaughn Wood really making his presence felt there. A great form tackle to bring Stallings down.
And they're going to push it back to the 17-yard line. He's going to bring up a 2nd and 13. Same formation as before, only this time Hodges is flanked to the right. The short side is on the left where there is 1 wide receiver. The give is to Hodges. He spins out of 1 tackle but then gets brought down quickly by a host of Hodgson Silver Eagles led by Karan Tucker, number 20 for the Silver Eagles.
John, there's just been nothing there for Hodges all night. Again, Hodgson is focusing on him. Anytime he touches the ball, there are 2 or 3 Hodgson Silver Eagles ready to wrap him up. Again, he's the most explosive offensive weapon besides Stallings in that Newark backfield, so they're not going to let him beat them.
I'd like to see Newark try to open it up a little bit. Those 2 plays, Marty, are what we saw on tape from Newark.
You know what?
Quarterback keeper, handoff to Hodges.
I agree 100%. I'd love to see even something like a max protect where they try to get a receiver deep and let Stallings try to make something happen. I agree with you. They need to shake things up a little bit.
2 wide receivers on each side. This might be it. It's Steven Casella who is in, and he is in the block for Stallings. Stallings gets it out to Coverdale, number 23. We got his name at halftime. Coverdale escapes a couple of tackles. Going to be short of the first down, but a nice run. He's going to get out to the 29-yard line. That's what I was talking about,
That
Marty.
is a great job by Stallings right there. He got the ball quickly out to Coverdale. Coverdale with a real nifty move to cut back toward the middle of the field. And as you said, just coming very close. It's 4th and 1. This raises a real interesting prospect for Newark. If you go for it and don't get this, you give Hodgson the ball in prime scoring territory, but Barry Zender's going to roll the dice, or at least make it look like he's going to roll the dice. Yes.
He was talking to Malay Stallings on the sideline. Now, Hodges is not in the game, so you've eliminated one big back. In the backfield to the left is Demel Robinson, so he could be in the blocking. A little confusion. Not sure. Steven Casella's got his hands up like he's not sure what to do, and they do snap the ball, and the give is to Coverdale. Coverdale gets up the middle, and no, it's Robinson, I'm sorry, and he picks up a first down. That's huge for Newark.
That is a great job by Newark. It kind of looked like Robinson was surprised by the snap. I think it got snapped a little quicker than he thought. He did a really nice job of recovering once he took the handoff from Stallings. Hodgson actually made contact with him behind the line of scrimmage, but he did a really nice job of fighting forward, and as you said, a huge first down to start things off here.
So two guys who we haven't called much tonight, Robinson and Coverdale, big plays to pick up the first down, and it'll be 1st and 10 on their own 34. And Robinson is still in the backfield, and the give is going to be to Robinson. He cuts up and is dragged down. He's going to pick up maybe a yard. We'll see what they give him when they unpile things there. Tackle was by Dymera Wallace, and there is a flag on the play.
We're going to get a personal foul here on Hodgson for throwing a Newark player to the ground after the play ended. And I'm sure Frank Moffitt has got to be entirely sick of seeing this nonsense. It was far away from the play after it ended. There was no need to do it. And again, this is something they're going to go back, Hodgson, later this week and make sure they get this stuff straightened out.
Well, Wendell Lima was getting an earful on his way off the field. He walked right past the coaching staff back
now
to the bench.
Now they're picking it up, which I think is a mistake.
Oh, wow.
It was a clear he just absolutely threw the Newark receiver to the ground well after the whistle had blown, but I guess we'll give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. Hodgson got away with one there.
Well, and how do you not – if you see it and you're throwing it to the ground, how do you not call a penalty? That makes absolutely no sense to me. But 2nd and 10, Stallings is back, fires over the middle. It's a high throw. Another flag is down, and another flag is down. That's going to be a targeting foul. That's a good call because that's what they're trying to track down on. Jermaine Neal was the intended receiver. The ball was thrown not well over his head, but he wasn't going to catch it, and the Hodgson defender came in and leveled him.
And we've seen at the NFL and college level, the onus is on the defensive player to make sure they don't make contact with the head. It was not avoided there, and you may say, well, that's a tough play. Hey, that's the rule, and they're doing it for safety reasons, so I have no problem with this call. Although, I got to tell you what, we've seen more conferences between officials tonight than we've seen in a long time.
Well,
it's not a bad thing. I want to say that, if
right.
they're getting it right, then that's more important than expedience.
But we both agree they got the last one wrong
Yes,
when they
they
picked
did.
that flag up on an obvious personal foul in the wide open. It wasn't like it came out of a scrum and they had to figure it out. So we'll see. Stallings is back on the field ready to go when they finally sort this out. Now, there was another flag. The first one is is a holding against Newark. Personal foul, so they offset.
Wow.
So a big break for Hodgson there.
Very big break for Hodgson. Newark, as Melly Stallings went back to pass, he was under immense pressure. The fullback, or the running back, in charge of blocking for him, grabbed the Hodgson player, the blitzer. But then we had the personal foul that we thought could have been targeting in the defensive backfield. So, all in all, a big break for Hodgson there.
2nd and 10, ball on the 34-yard line. Newark moving north to south or left to right from the press box. Stallings is by himself, takes it on the quarterback keeper, and he gets buried about 5 yards back from where he was. In on the tackle was Xavier Chandler for Hodgson.
I almost think they need to get Stallings out of this ball game. He is taking an absolute beating, and every time he gets up, he's holding his side or his arm, and it looks like they're actually going to take him out now. They're not going to do it. What I don't understand is the blocking scheme. You have a quarterback running a draw. You can't let the entire Hodgson offensive line have a free run at him. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not a screenplay. They're going to be all over him with no one else in the backfield. And you didn't have Hodges back there.
Yeah, you described it perfectly. The Hodgson defensive line looked like they were playing against the screen as quickly as they got in there. Stallings is back to pass this time. He fires into the slot. He's got Jermaine Neal to 40, to the 45, cuts it up to the 50, 45. One man to beat. He cuts back and gets brought down, but not until he gets all the way to the 27-yard line. Darius Hale brings him down. The biggest play of the season for Newark.
Huge play, and you know what? That's what we talked about in the opening. Melly Stallings being able to make the throws. Malay Stallings, that was a perfectly placed ball. He had the receiver on a crossing pattern across the middle. Jermaine Earl, the freshman, and if he gets one big block from Hodges on the right sideline here, I think he was going to be sprung for a touchdown. The Hodgson defender did a really nice job of avoiding Hodges, who did try to make that block, but a big play for Newark.
45-yard catch and run, and now the give is up the middle. That's DeMel Robinson. He's going to pick up about 4 yards and bring it to the 22-yard line. So probably, and now another flag comes in late from the back judge. We'll see what this is all about. And so this game has just been riddled with penalties, 11 total. We've had at least 4 or 5 offsetting penalties. And we'll see what they have here.
I think we may get too many men on the field.
Wow. And so Hale's running off. And
I'll tell you what, it makes that 4-yard gain even more impressive. You know what we saw in the last play, John? There's finally some confidence from that Newark offensive line. A 4-yard gain might have not seemed big, but it's something more than they've been doing all night long. You sort of feel a little pep in their step now after that big 45-yard pass completion.
Well, and I like that they're opening it up.
They're
opening the game up. It is just not snapping it back to the quarterback and running it, or back to Hodges and running it. They're mixing it up a little bit. 7 minutes of play here, almost halfway through the third quarter. Hodgson with a 7-0 lead, but Newark is in the red zone on the 13-yard line. Stallings has it on the keeper, and he gets brought down hard. After going to be a loss of about 3. In on the tackle was Jalik Hayward, the senior defensive lineman.
That's a good job by the Hodgson defense, holding their zones there, not allowing any big holes to open up. Stallings, he's got to realize when he runs that quarterback draw, he can't wait that long, especially not against a quick defense. They're going to get in there. He's either got to position himself behind a blocker and follow him through, or make a decision on his own and get what he can. He just can't linger around in the backfield too long.
1 wide receiver out to the right on the short side, 2 out to the left. Stallings is there. The give is to DeMel Robinson, and he gets dropped immediately by Jalik Hayward. Going to be another loss for Newark. So after that big 45-yard catch by Neal, Newark has gone backward.
Jalik Hayward read that beautifully. He came off the right edge and did a great job of just form tackling the ball carrier, put his shoulder right in the midsection, wrapped up the ball carrier, and brought him down. So
did he
really
turn it
good
over?
Job. Oh,
They
wow.
fumbled.
It was a fumble.
Wow.
We did not see that.
We did not see that. The crowd did not see it.
No, there's no reaction.
No reaction
from the crowd
from
at
anybody. And it was in a scrum, so it was hard to see. So a fumble is going to give the ball back to Hodgson. So a bad break for Newark there, as they looked like they had shown more offensively than what we saw in their 2 games previously. So the ball is going to be on the 18-yard line, 6:16 to play. The give is to Hale, and he scampers around the right side and is going to pick up a first down. So what a momentum changer, Marty. All the momentum for the home team, and now all of a sudden it's shifted right back to Hodgson.
No, you're right. I mean, Hodgson, a big break there. Newark had everything going their way, and all of a sudden a fumble out of nowhere. Hodgson takes over. And I tell you, if Sanchez is able to get any kind of deep ball, I attack Malay Stallings here. The kid has got to be tired as all get out. He's playing safety for this Newark defense. I find where he is on the field, I attack his side of it, make him go run after the ball.
3rd turnover of the night for Newark. They've got 1 other fumble and the interception that happened deep in the north end zone, or the north side of the field. A Hodgson player is down. That's big number 66, Xavier Chandler. He is off on his own power there. Might be a cramping issue there. It's not hot. It's warmer. It's not fall weather. Today's the official day of fall. I think it turned at 4:10 this afternoon, but it certainly didn't feel like fall. But it's not as warm as a lot of people were talking about, and they say it's going to get warmer. But it almost kind of feel like a fall chill.
It does. It's a very
point.
Comfortable night at this point. It's very comfortable in the press box, and guessing by the fact that we haven't seen a lot of cramps, which I thought may be an issue tonight, is indication that the weather is not as warm as we thought.
5:57 to play. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here in the third quarter at Newark High. Hodgson with the ball and a 7-0 lead. And Sanchez keeps it and scampers up the middle, and he's going to be brought down by Jermaine Neal, but not until he gets across the 40 to the first down. And here you got to start wondering if this Newark defense is going to start to get tired, Marty, because just when their offense was moving the ball, boom, the defense is back on the field.
All of a sudden, with no warning, they're back on the field, and this Hodgson offensive line is starting to establish a little bit of dominance on this possession, something we really really haven't seen all night, and something I expected we'd see throughout the evening. Nice job there by Sanchez of waiting a split second to diagnose it, find the hole, cut up field for a big gain and a first down.
Hodges on defense also, Stallings
Yes.
on defense also. And so the guys, the main ball carriers on offense are also playing defense. The give is up the middle, and that's Hale, gets around, tries to get around the edge. Brought down, a nice job on the tackle there by Dan Vasali, but not until a pickup of about 5. Looks like it's going to bring up a 2nd and 5.
Hale is a really strong runner. He seems to never go down at first contact. You see some attempts to arm tackle him. He runs right through those. He does a great job of keeping his balance. And with Wiggins out tonight, he's really been the workhorse for this Hodgson offense.
Just tuning in, Wiggins left the game after dropping the ball. It wasn't a fumble, but it was almost a turnover. Not sure if it was an injury or if something happened from a consequence standpoint. But either way, their starting running back and best running back is not in the game and has not been. The give is up the middle. Looks like they've got the first down. I believe that was Hale on the carry. Still waiting for, it was Hale on the carry.
Yes.
It was 2nd and 4. He picked up that 5, going to bring up a first down.
And now you see a little methodical drive here by Hodgson as, again, they start to assert some dominance over the defensive line of Newark, which, again, sort of had a flash warning to get on the field after that fumble. And you see Frank Moffitt is basically saying at this point, we're going to drive the ball as much as we can.
I formation, one wide receiver out to the right on the short side of the field as they move right to left, and the give is up the middle. That's Simeon Smith with one of his few carries, and he picks up about 8 yards. They're going to mark him at the Newark 40-yard line, going to bring up a 2nd and short.
And a fresh ball carrier there in Simeon Smith. He's not a real big kid, kind of low to the ground, does a good job of kind of getting lost in behind those offensive linemen and hit the hole really quickly there for a good pickup of 8 on the play.
Donald Burton on the tackle, going to bring up a 2nd and 2, ball on the 40-yard line. Chance for Hodgson to make a statement here, and, certainly not going to put the game away if they score, but the way Newark has not been able to effectively move the ball all season, it certainly would be a plus. Simeon on the carry, that's Simeon Smith, and guy closest to us has a first down. The guy on the far side does not. We'll see if they meet halfway and what it is. No signal yet. So it's either going to be 3rd and about half a foot or a first down, and they're calling it a 3rd down.
And a big change from the first half for Hodgson. We're not seeing mishaps on the exchanges. All the exchanges have been clean. The handoffs have been clean. So it looks like, I'm guessing Frank Moffitt got in these guys' ears and said, look, clean this up and clean it up quickly.
That and your backup quarterback, Sanchez, now has a half under his belt. Hadn't taken, I think he took 1 snap leading into this game. Simeon Smith again on the carry, picks up the first down over the right tackle without a problem, down to the 31-yard line, 2:47 to play. Hodgson driving with a 7-0 lead over Newark.
We've got a Newark player down on this one, but a great job of the Newark offensive line, again, firing off the ball, getting a really good push. And again, officials have now called timeout so that the Newark training staff can come out.
As the training staff comes out, we're going to cut the break. You're listening to the high school game of the week. Hodgson leads Newark 7-0 on Fox Sports 1290 and 3.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams. Sports on our many TVs. It's a great fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
First and 10 on the Newark 32-yard line. A big thanks to our partner NKN Films for their outstanding design on our 2017 high school football schedule poster. Visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. Marty, I've gotten more compliments for this poster than any poster we've ever done. And the posters are always great.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, but there's something about this poster.
This one's phenomenal.
That people really are enjoying. It's they've taken the shape of the state and put the players in it, and it's just really a neat job by NKN Films. Here we go. 1st and 10, and the give is to Simeon Smith, and he powers his way for another first down up to the 20-yard line. So Hodgson's offensive line, which is the hallmark of this team this year, according to head coach Frank Moffitt, has taken over on this drive.
And it really looks like they've sort of limited the playbook to 2 or 3 different plays. They're going off the right side. They're going off the left side. They're not doing anything fancy. As you said, they're allowing the offensive line to assert themselves now. You can see the Newark defense is on their heels, and Hodgson's not going to do anything different as long as they're churning out 4 or 5 yards a carry.
I formation. Damir Wallace is the up back, and it comes back, and just as we talk about how clean it's been, this fumble on the snap, and Sanchez gets taken down, and it looks like it's going to be about a 3-yard loss, bring up a second down.
I talked about the no-hitter, and he gave up a 3-run home run. Yeah, that's the first missed snap we've seen this half from Sanchez, and I'm sure the coaches they're bringing him over to the sideline I'm sure, to settle him down a bit. This is a huge 3rd and 3 for the Newark defense. You know this is 2-down territory for Hodgson, but they'd love to force them into a 4th down situation.
And what you don't want to do here if you're Newark is jump off sides and give them that first down. 1:30 to play. Hodgson with a 7-0 lead. Officials timeout here. Not sure what they're discussing.
They're sending Earl off the field. I don't know if he has an equipment issue.
He had an equipment issue in the end zone earlier, and he's taken one of his chin straps off, so that must be an equipment issue, and that's never good when one of your best players has to come off with an equipment issue. Of course, there's nothing the player can do about it. And Barry Zender is actually taking the chin strap off of another player.
Off of a kid whose jersey we don't have on our roster.
Right.
You got to love that. Go to the kid who's not going to play tonight and yank off his chin strap.
And we don't mean that to make fun of them. All these players dress, and it's a great experience for them.
Yes,
but it's just funny to see it. Billups up the middle is going to have a first down. So while the chin strap was being changed, and that's where Earl would have been.
Yes.
And that's where something like that, you're not going to see that anywhere in the stats. But when you take one of your best linebackers out of the game, and they run right where he would have been, that makes a difference. First down for Hodgson.
And Nazir Billups and Simeon Smith and Hale have done a really nice job of filling in for Wiggins tonight, kind of picking up some of the slack. This Hodgson team just seems to be on a roll right now. The offensive line really feeling it for the Silver Eagles.
Hodgson took over with 6:16 left in the third quarter. There's under a minute to play right now. One wide receiver out to the left. The give is to Billups up the middle, and he gets dragged down by Luke Barsky. Fumble. And Newark has it. Newark has it. Coming up with the ball is Dan Vasali. So a big mistake there by Billups, and Newark takes over.
It's the same. It's the old story. Billups was fighting for extra yards there. One of the Newark defenders got his hand in and just kept ripping away at the football. It flies out. So again, the heart and effort we're seeing from Newark right then. That's a time when Newark can kind of fold, John. They are on their heels. They've been driven 70 yards down the field at this point by this Hodgson running game, and all of a sudden they come up with a huge turnover. And by the way, Earl has finally got his chin strap figured out, so he'll be back in on offense now.
He's ready. So with 51 seconds left to play, Hodgson is letting Newark hang around. Hodgson had to be the favorite. You had to consider them the favorite coming in. And Newark is hanging around, and you know how the old saying goes, the longer you let them hang around, the more chances are they're going to hang around for good. Stallings on the quarterback keeper, trying to fight his way up the middle just to give himself some room back there, but he's going to barely get back to the line of scrimmage. 43 seconds left to play here in the third quarter, and it's going to bring up a second down and 11, back them up probably to about the 3-yard line.
This is something they're really going to have to address with Stallings on these quarterback draws. He just takes too long to pick his hole, and by the time he does, a quick defense like Hodgson is on top of him. You just can't take that long. As I said before, you either got to find your hole quickly or just push ahead and try to get as much as you can. You can't afford these losses, especially when you're this deep in your territory.
10 seconds left to play. Newark does not have to get this ball off because the back judge has not started the countdown yet. Will be interesting to see if they even snap it. 2 wide receivers out to the right. Stallings in the backfield looking over, and the third quarter is going to come to an end. So a scoreless third quarter, and it remains Hodgson 7, Newark 0. We got a good one here on the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week. We'll be right back for the fourth quarter.
Hungry? You don't want to mess around with a quarter-pound meat sandwich. Instead, eat one of Arby's new half-pound roast beef sandwiches. 8 ounces of thinly sliced, tender roast beef. And if you really want a quarter pound of beef, that's cool. Just eat half of a half-pound roast beef sandwich.
Introducing Arby's new half-pound roast beef sandwiches. Arby's, we have the meat.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
Special Olympics Delaware is always looking for qualified coaches or former players wanting to coach. The next sports seasons are bowling and basketball. It takes just 2 hours a week for 8 weeks to make a difference. For more information, visit SODE.org. Don't forget to stay tuned after the game for the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show, when we'll recap all of tonight's action, announce our Crown Trophy player of the game, and give you a preview of our next game next week on Fox Sports 1290. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Ronnie Vickers back in our Newcastle studio, and we've come to the fourth quarter here. Newark has the ball. They're pinned back on their own. Looks like about the 4-yard line is where they're spotting it. It looks more like the 3 to me, but we'll call it the 4. And they're going to try to dig their way out here. It is second down, 11 to go. This happened after a fumble by Demel Robinson of Hodgson, just as Hodgson looked like they were going to punch in what could very well have been the final straw to break the Camel's back for against a Newark team that has struggled on offense all night long. Stallings is looking deep. He's got Hodges. Hodges incomplete. It was a little bit underthrown. On the coverage there was Lester Coleman down the left-hand sideline, going to bring up a 3rd and 11.
Stallings did a nice job there. He was trying to get the ball in between the cornerback and the safety for Hodges, and he was hoping Hodges would adjust. He did, but as you said, just a tad underthrown, but not a bad-looking throw from the sophomore quarterback.
No, it wasn't bad, because if Hodges doesn't catch it, which he did, nobody else did. So unlike the interception that Stallings had earlier in the game, that one was not a dangerous pass necessarily. Now this one here, Marty, it's important that they get some yardage, if for no other reason that right now their punter is not going to be back in a normal position, and they've struggled in the punting game getting it off. And Stallings gets hit in the back, and that should be a safety. I don't think it was a forward motion. It is. And so he was trying to unload the ball, couldn't, and so instead it is going to be a safety against Newark, and so Hodgson takes a 9-0 lead.
And Barry Zender is on his knees over here. He was actually gesturing wildly to throw the ball away to Stallings, and by the time he finally went to do it, it was too late. That's just, again, he's a young kid. He's going to learn. Once you get under pressure like that, you got to have the bigger game picture in mind. You just got to get rid of that ball.
And you know what? I think he was trying to get rid of it, albeit late. And one of the problems was he was rolling to the left, and he was trying to turn his body and get rid of it by crossing his body.
Yes.
He almost would have been better off switching hands and just flipping it with his left hand out.
Yes.
But again, a young quarterback, mistakes like that are going to be made. And Barry Zender is showing him, he's basically trying to teach the young kid.
Yes, he is.
Now, Stallings still has a little bit of limp, and so, he's battling through an injury. He was limping a little bit in the first half. He is a tough kid. And, before you become a senior, you go through growing pains.
Yes,
and
this
is just part of the growing pains. So with 11:49 to play here in the fourth quarter, Hodgson has taken a 9-0 lead, and now Newark is going to have to punt the ball away. And Hodgson, barring a tremendous punt, is probably going to have the ball in Newark territory.
Yes, and I think we're waiting. No one from Newark has come out to kick the ball. So
and there's only 10 players.
Actually, they're going to kick it off. They're going to choose to kick off instead of punt.
And it's Rita Chatui, their kicker, who is going to do that.
Now, this is a great opportunity for Hodgson. If you're Hodgson, you cannot let this kick bounce if he puts it anywhere in the air. If you're Frank Moffitt, you want to make sure these guys return this. I watched him in kickoffs in the pregame, and he wasn't getting a lot of deep yardage on his kickoffs. A great opportunity for Hodgson here.
Mapp is the middle of the trio back on the 35-yard line for Hodgson, and the ball is going to barely make it to the middle of the field. Actually, now it bounces. Mapp picks it up, drops it on the 40, spins out of it, and gets tackled from behind. So a great job. Flags on the play, of course. Tackle was made by Steven Casella, if it stands, but a very nice job by the Newark special teams. Got some lucky bounces on the kickoff, but they made the most out of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was exactly the plan of how they had that working out. That was a really odd-looking kick, but as you said, it did work out. And again, we get another now a block in the back on a, there's just no reason for that penalty. It wasn't going to be a big return anyway. The ball had been on the ground for a long time. Just another opportunity there where Frank Moffitt and his staff will go back this week and talk to these guys about not shooting yourself in the foot, not allowing the opponent to stay in the game by making mistakes.
11 penalties now on Hodgson, 2 fumbles. So to say it's not been a clean game would be an understatement.
Yes.
11:44 to play. Hodgson is going to take the ball on the Newark 35-yard line. They have a 9-0 lead, so it's a 2-score difference at least for the Silver Eagles. Both teams have all of their timeouts remaining, and from what we saw of Hodgson on the last play or the last series, they're probably not going to do anything but run this football and try to run as much of this clock out as they can. They ran just under 6 minutes off of the clock last time before turning the ball over on the Robinson fumble.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they did anything but pound away at this Newark defense now.
They're in the I formation, and the give is up the middle. That is Simeon Smith, and Simeon Smith breaks away across midfield to the 30, the 20, the 10. He's gone. Touchdown, Hodgson.
There's the home run that Hodgson has been looking for all night long. The offensive line ripped open a big hole. You have to think fatigue plays a role there a little bit. That Newark defense has been on the field a lot in this second half. Simeon Smith turning on the Jets there at the end, making sure he had the ball in the right hand. Sprints to the end zone, and that just feels like that could be, even though we have 11 and a half minutes left, that feels like that might be the knockout punch that Hodgson was looking for.
And so it is 15-0 following a safety and then a 65-yard touchdown run by Simeon Smith to give the Silver Eagles a 15-0 lead with less than 30 seconds gone in this fourth quarter. And they've got the extra point on. Matt has it down. The kick is up, and it is waiting for the signal. No good. So Josue Lopez misses the extra point, and so it's going to stay 15-0. Hodgson over Newark on the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week, and watching it live on 302 Sports.
This week only, carry out 1 pizza at menu price and get a second pizza free when you order at Domino's.com or on the Domino's app. It's a great deal, not to mention an excuse to get out of the house, like if your kids are on a 24-hour sugar high, or if the in-laws drop by for a week, or if you just hate your son's new parakeet.
Hello, Cupcake. It might be time for Domino's.
Go ahead, enjoy some alone time with Domino's. Carry out only. You must select this limited time offer. Prices, participation, and charges may vary. Applies to menu price pizza ordered online. Second pizza of equal or lesser value for free.
The Delaware High School football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290.
Pretty here in the second half of the Hodgson-Newark game. Hodgson with a 15-0 lead, 11:33 left to play here in the fourth quarter. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. And it was a fumble by Newark, followed by a fumble by Hodgson, and a safety by Hodgson against Newark. And then a 65-yard scamper into the end zone by Simeon Smith, and that's how we got to 15-0 here in the fourth quarter. And so Hodgson will be kicking off. Henry is going to do the honors from the 40-yard line. A little bit of a squib kick here. Newark's got to get on it, or it's going to be Hodgson ball, and he goes out of bounds, so it's going to be a penalty. And so Newark, and now they got a second. No, I guess I don't know why they threw the penalty, picked the flag up and threw it again, but he did.
And I'm not sure number 21 Hodgson was getting barked at by his teammate. That was Lester Coleman, who kind of veered off at the last second, not thinking that, I guess that was a loose ball. Anybody could claim that ball at that point. So a little teaching moment for
There's
them.
2 flags down. So the second flag, I thought he picked the flag up and moved it, but they did throw a second flag down. We'll see what that's all about. One of the flags is definitely the ball out of bounds on the kickoff. And they're talking to Barry Zender, and they're probably going over what the 2 choices are. It looks like they have a personal foul up there. Now, Barry, the way Barry's reacting is the personal foul is going to be against Newark. But we'll see.
Yeah, and it appears to me it may actually involve Zender. There was a bump with an official while the play was ending. Zender was down in that area, and that official is the one who ended up throwing the flag. Let's see what the call is here. Again, more conferences by officials than I think we've seen in the 3 years we've been doing this.
And Zender is one of the assistant coaches over here
is walking away after being barked at, yes.
So he's not happy with whatever the call is going to be. We're still waiting for the ref. It's an illegal motion with a kick out of bounds against the kicking team. That would be Hodgson, and then it is a personal foul against Newark.
Yeah, I guess we're not going to get an explanation there. I feel like that had something to do with the Newark coaching staff, something that happened on the sideline right at the end of that play. But either way, it's just that the tenor of this game has been so sloppy on both sides. Hodgson especially. I was kind of just getting ready to say that Newark has done a good job of limiting the penalties that have just they've fallen under an avalanche of in these first two games. But just as we say that, the penalty happens, and instead of getting the ball in good field position, we have offsetting penalties, and we're going to kick again.
Yep, it looks like it's going back to the 40-yard line, where it was about what seemed like 22 yards. Now they're going to, I guess, the personal foul penalty because it was after the play.
Yes.
They're going to move it to the 50-yard line, so that would be the 40 minus the 5 back to the 35 against Hodgson, and then the 15 there. So it's not an offsetting, so that is the 13th penalty for Hodgson, and the third. I have just 3 penalties for Newark. Now, they've had several offsetting that didn't count, but still they came into the game with 27 penalties over 2 games, and so certainly Barry Zender is going to have to be pleased about the lack of penalties that were at least counted against his team. So Henry's going to kick it off again. This one's heading into the end zone and out of the back of the end zone, so that will come out to the 20-yard line. So with 11:33 to play, Newark is going to take over the ball trailing 15-0. So 2 scores still wins it for them if they convert on the 2-point conversions both. But given the lack of offense from Newark, remember this is a Newark team that did not score in its last game, only scored once in its first game, and has not scored tonight. You almost have to consider this a must-score situation to have any chance to win.
Oh, I agree. I think Newark has to get something here. You're getting to the point you got to be Goodwill Hunting to count up the penalties in this game, but between these two teams and work everything out. Newark, they've got to get something. You and I talked about this earlier. They've got to open it up. I mean, at this point, you're down 15, 11 and a half to go in the fourth quarter. You've got to do something. Hodgson is ready for it, but that still doesn't mean you don't attack this defense.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. Stalling drop backs, and he whips it over the middle, and that is Wright who's got it, and he is tackled immediately after picking up about 3 yards to the 23.
And it's a short game, but again, I like it because I think you want to soften this Hodgson defense up a little bit, and you have to do that by making them fear the pass, something they really haven't had to do all night. Hodgson had Newark, the one long completion. But I kind of feel like if this Newark offensive line could hold their water just a little bit and allow these receivers to work against this defensive backfield, it'd be interesting to see what Stallings can do.
2 wide receivers out on the long side of the field. Hodges gets it, slips in the backfield, and falls down. Nothing going right for Newark now.
No, and the sad thing was, even if Hodgson had kept his foot, or Hodges had kept his footing, there were 3 Hodgson defenders waiting for him just past the line of scrimmage. So, again, the line play really starting to come into play here. What we've seen is just both teams, especially Hodgson tonight, had such a hard time holding on to the football. We've seen some better defensive play from both teams in the second half. If Hodgson can calm down on the penalty front, they can put this game away, but they've got to make sure they stay steady in that area.
3rd and 12, ball on the 18-yard line as we approach the 10-minute mark left here in this game. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Stallings drops back, being chased. Flag on the play. He gets the ball out to Hodges. Hodges makes a move, but a great tackle there by the Hodgson defender. That was, I believe it was Bobby Arnold, number 28 it was, on the tackle there. We'll see what the flag is all about, and it looks like Hodges is down but up under his own power.
Yeah, Hodges bounced on top of his own head, got flipped over, got his legs taken right out from under him by Arnold, as you said, landed on his head. It's a scary moment for any football player. That's just not a comfortable feeling, so it's good to see Hodges up and walking off the field.
And the penalty is going to be against Newark. Not sure if that was a signal for a chop block. It's against Newark either way, so any gain, which actually was minimal gain because of the nice defensive play there.
And that wouldn't surprise me because where you see the chop, that's what it is, a chop block. You see them on screen passes where the offensive line lets the defenders go. You have a player behind who gets down low, trying to make that last block to free up the quarterback. So
I think I decline this. I think I decline this if I'm Frank
I
Moffitt.
agree, 100%. Yeah,
it would bring up a 4th down. So yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. So they're going to bring up a 4th down, and Newark's going to have no choice but to punt.
You can't. You simply can't go for it here. You just be handing an easy score to Hodgson, most likely.
And so it's going to be right back on his 8-yard line with 10 minutes to play. Punting the ball away. Fumbles it almost. I don't know how that didn't get blocked. And he kicks it. It's not going to be a long kick, and it's not going to get a good bounce. And it's going to be down right at the 25-yard line by Dan Vasali. So he's been under pressure, I think, for every punt that he's taken that we've seen on film.
That was his worst. That was a 5-yard punt. But again, he did bobble the snap. I am amazed he was able to get that off at all myself. So, as it turns out, it wouldn't have hurt to go for it because they only got away with a 5-yard punt, but they couldn't have known that to begin with. Now, if you're Hodgson, again, you've just got to pound this football into the middle of this Newark defense and make sure you hold on to the ball.
So, the Newark offense continues to struggle. They've had a couple glimmers of hope, but then they've kicked themselves in the foot one way or another, and Newark is going to take a timeout. Barry Zender looks like it's a substitution issue. He's not happy with something going on. So we're going to go ahead and take our 4th timeout of the second half. There's 9:51 to play here. Newark trails Hodgson 15-0. Hodgson's got the ball, looking like it's ready to drive back in. We'll be right back on Fox Sports 1290.
Now for the 63rd DFRC Blue Gold All-Star Football Game on June 23rd, 2018 at Delaware Stadium. Be a part of this Delaware tradition that works to change the perceptions of people living with intellectual challenges and enrich the lives of Delawareans with intellectual disabilities. Enjoy the game that brings together football players, cheerleaders, band members, and buddies from more than 50 Delaware high schools. It's so much more than one night and one game. Help support the DFRC Blue Gold All-Star Football Game today at dfrc.org.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Hodgson ball first down. 24-yard line to give it to Simeon Smith, who just had the 65-yard touchdown run. He doesn't get 65 this time, but he gets about 7. And another flag in on the play, and I think this is going to be a personal foul against Hodgson. If it is, it will be their 14th penalty of the game.
It is a personal foul. Just waiting to see who it's on. It is on Hodgson. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really. I cannot imagine a Hodgson team playing this sloppy and this undisciplined. And I'm sure we know Frank Moffitt. This has got to embarrass him. I know this isn't the kind of team he coaches, and everyone on Hodgson's side knows that it's the team he coaches. And on Newark's side, sure, I'm also sure this is going to be something they're going to address in the film room. This won't happen again. It's just been way out of control, and there's no need for it at this point in the game.
He would be embarrassed if there were 14 penalties that were just
Overall,
offsides or delayed games, let alone that at least 4 or 5 of them have been of the personal foul variety. Is only going to make him more upset. So, and they do just change.
What Barry Zender now is asking what they're now just signal the personal foul on Newark.
And Barry Zender throws his water ball to the sideline and is going out to ask for an explanation. So again, the officiating crew here, we don't want to be overcritical, but the bottom line is they've now had 2 situations where they've literally changed the call or picked up a flag. So our apologies to Frank Moffitt on that one, but we're going by what we see. So that's going to be a Newark penalty, just their 5th of the day. And the crew there got together, and after a long conversation, they changed the call. We hope they got it right.
Yes.
We'll find out on film. I talk to Barry Zender every weekend, and so I'll ask him tomorrow whether he got it right or not. But 9:30 to play, 1st and 10 now. Hodgson with the ball on the 9-yard line. It gives the Simeon Smith up the middle. Guess what? Another flag on the play.
Unreal.
Didn't get in the end zone. And he's down to the 1-yard line. Simeon Smith is, if this stands. The flag came from the back judge.
And you have the fullback, Dymar Wallace, holding his hands up for Hodgson as if, what did I do? Which makes me believe he did something.
And so we will see here. Simeon Smith got down to the 1-yard line. He's got the freshest legs here. And now they're going to call it a touchdown. It's a face mask, but now neither referee on the side that marks the ball had the ball in. Both of the side judges are standing at the 1-yard line, so no touchdown.
I feel like we should be playing the Benny Hill music at this point in this ball game.
It is going to be a face mask against Newark, so it's going to get a little bit closer to the end zone, but it's not going to be a touchdown. So a lot of confusion on the field right now for the guys in the stripes. But
we've reached somebody throw a tent over this circus stage of our ball game with 9:20 to go here.
The bottom line is it is the correct call now that they finally sorted this out several minutes later. We're at the 9:15 mark. It is 15-0. Hodgson with the lead, looking to punch it in here. Damir Wallace is the fullback, and it is Darius Hale in the halfback position. The give is to Hale, up the middle, untouched, touchdown from 1 yard out.
Wow, huge hole ripped open there by the Hodgson offensive line, and I'm sorry. I thought we had another flag there. You know what? It kind of takes away. Hodgson's offensive line has done such a great job in this second half. Simeon Smith has just been running his legs off. It's been a fantastic effort by he and the Hodgson offensive line. Yes, there's been a lot of mess with some other things that have been going on, but the one thing you can take away if you're Hodgson now is you're finally starting to reestablish that running game and that dominance along the offensive line, which is what Frank Moffitt's teams are known for.
And so a personal foul originally against Hodgson was changed to Newark, has resulted in a 1 yard touchdown run by Darius Hale, and they're going to go for 2 here with a 21-0 lead. To give is to Hale, and he's going to go in. Another flag from the back judge. We'll see what that's all about, whether it stands or not. If it does stand, it's 23-0. They have not put up the extra 2 points yet, so they're going to have to sort this one out.
And again, the Hodgson offensive line just demolishing that Newark defensive front. They've completely asserted themselves. Now we got an illegal block below the waist on Hodgson. So I go back to that point about Frank Moffitt. I'm still pretty sure he's not happy about any of this stuff that's going on. It's just, these guys know better than this. And the dominance by Hodgson in the second half on the offensive line and with their running backs hitting these holes, there's no need for these crazy blocks. I mean, they're ripping open 2-3 yard holes in this defensive line, and that's going to take the 2 points off the board and force a very long now 2-point attempt from Hodgson.
And this, again, remember, this is the experienced part of the Hodgson team, this offensive line, and so that makes those penalties even harder to accept if you're the Hodgson coaching staff. 8:59 to play. It is 21-0, Hodgson over Newark. A good crowd out here for Newark's opening night. It is a gold out is what they're calling it. They've been selling T-shirts to raise money for charity for cancer research and to help children with cancer, a great thing Barry Zentner started last year and has rolled into this year. So here is the 18-yard conversion attempt. Looked like an illegal motion. Barry Zentner is calling for that. Not called. The throw is into the end zone. And no good. They were trying to get it to Daniel Douglas on what looked like a fly pattern as far out as it was. So the conversion is no good, and so we're going to take our final time out of the half. There's 8:59 to play. Hodgson leaves Newark 21-0 on the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week, and you're watching it live on 302 Sports.
We're closed with Fan Appreciation Weekend beginning Friday. The Birds host the Tampa Bay Rays. On Friday, enjoy post-game fireworks. Then on Saturday, all fans 15 and over will receive an Orioles hooded sweatshirt. The regular season wraps Sunday. All fans 14 and under will receive an Oriole Bird bobblehead toothbrush holder presented by United Concordia. Plus, all kids ages 4 to 14 run the bases presented by the Wise Markets. For tickets, visit Orioles.com.
The Delaware High School football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290.
Well, despite 14 penalties and 2 fumbles, the Hodgson Silver Eagles have managed to pull out a 21-0 lead with 8:59 to play here in the fourth quarter. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan, and it will be the Silver Eagles kicking off left to right. That's James Henry, the freshman, and Stallings is back along with Jermaine Neal. And I'm trying to pick up the other number. I can't see it from where I am. So we will get set for kickoff here, and Newark will make one final attempt, or it might not be their final attempt, but will make an attempt to get the ball into the end zone for just the second time this season. The kick is going to go to Hodges. No, it's going to be picked up there by number 13, and that is going to be Wright, who's dragged down at the 20-yard line. He's the only player. He wears number 13 for the black jerseys, number 12 for the white jerseys.
And another good job by the Hodgson kick coverage team to get down there and limit any big return by some of these fantastic athletes in the return team for Newark, which also doubles as mainly their offensive stars in Hodges and Wright.
And so the ball is going to be, they're going to mark it on the 25-yard line. And Newark will have the ball moving right to left as we see it, starting over on the right hash mark, which is the far side of the field from us. Nice turnout by the Hodgson fans, too, as you would expect. You know, the school's only about 2 miles from here, and so you would expect nice turnout. They play all their home games on Saturday morning, so a little bit different. These guys get to sleep in.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
that's
They're
right.
probably looking forward to that. Two wide receivers out to the left. Stallings is in the pistol formation, and he drops back. He's looking to the side. He's looking for Neal on a little bit of a hitch, and it's going to be picked off by Hodgson. So an easy interception by Lester Coleman. He's still on his feet to the 30, 25, 20, looking for a block. Gets hit out of bounds at the 18-yard line.
This is not going to count, John.
Yep,
We got a roughing the
back.
passer call on Hodgson so long after Stallings threw the football, I believe.
Yeah, it's in that position, and it was the referee that flew it, and it is a roughing the passer. So the interception will be negated, and it's going to be against Hodgson. That is their 15th penalty, and probably their 5th of the unsportsman/personal foul/roughing variety.
I mean, that was at least a good 3-4 steps after Stallings threw the ball that the Hodgson player just unloaded on him. It's been a frustrating game all around for both sides. We have an injured Newark player being tended to right now on the sideline.
And Frank Moffitt, actually it's a
it's a
Hodgson
Hodgson
player. Frank Moffitt is making his way across the field here to check on his player. Moffitt in his 15th year at the helm of this program, a CR high school graduate. He's won 3 state titles, 2007, 13, and 14. It was Jalik Hayward, the injured player. He is up and limping off sort of under his own power. He's putting pressure on his feet. But Frank Moffitt has his arm around the young man, a senior defensive lineman, tight end, and he's making his way off probably for the night. I can't imagine he'll be back with a 21-0 lead and 8:42 to play.
And 2 quick out of scores, John. We have a surprising one here to end the third quarter. Dover 28, Concord 27.
Wow.
That's an interesting one. And William Penn has come back and taken a 19-14 lead in the fourth quarter over Caesar Rodney. So they got a great one going down there as well.
Dover trying to pick up its first win after 2 losses, including to a Division II Woodbridge team. Granted, one of the best, if not the best Division II team, but still what was considered a bad loss for them. So after the roughing the passer penalty, it's going to bring the ball up to the 40-yard line. And so, you know, if you're Hodgson, you don't want to keep giving Newark hope, and that's exactly what you're doing. You had an interception, and now you're giving the ball back to them. Stallings is in the backfield in the pistol formation. DeMel Robinson, who had that earlier fumble, which turned into a Hodgson safety eventually. Stallings whips it out to Neal and bounces it up, so it's going to be no good. Low throw there. Nothing Neal can do about that.
No, and that's a real tough throw for Stallings. He's rolling out to his left, and he's moving backwards as he tries to throw that to the left boundary. Difficult throw, and really no chance for that completion.
And it was Jermaine Earl was the receiver, not Neal. It was Earl. That was my fault. They're going to bring up a 2nd and 10. I like Earl. We were talking to Barry Sanders earlier. He said, you know, he's only a freshman, but the kid has earned a starting position at a wide receiver on the Newark team. He's going to be fun to watch in a couple years.
He is. There's some really good young talent on this Newark team.
And just as I talk about Earl, he's got to sprint off the field so that he's not the 12th man. 4 wide receivers lined up on the left, 1 on the right. Stallings by himself. He's going to just throw it up and hope Hodges can get under it. Hodges done it at 35-30, taken out of bounds. So open it up like we talked about. Bobby Arnold on the tackle, but not until the big gain. First down in Hodgson territory.
No, Bobby Arnold, the freshman, kind of got turned around there. He lost track of where the football was. He was in perfect position to either knock that away or pick it off, but sort of lost track of where he was, and Hodges took advantage of it, hauled that in, so another big pass play for Newark.
Now, he stepped out of bounds as soon as he caught it, so they're going to end up marking it at the 35, even though it was inside the 30 where he ended up going. But either way, a big play, hookup from Stallings to Hodges. Stallings, same exact formation, 3 wide receivers, and that is Coverdale lined up behind them, and it's going to be a jet screen to Coverdale.
That's a live ball.
Yeah, it's 5 feet over his head. Unfortunately for Newark, it went out of bounds, and so there wasn't an opportunity for a fumble recovery by Hodgson, so that's going to bring up a 3rd down. So just a poorly thrown ball by Stallings.
It was, yeah. He's going to lose about 4 or 5 yards on that one as he threw that backwards. He's got to be really careful about those throws, too. As you said, well over Coverdale's head. You have to make sure if you're going to throw that pass, you are throwing that forward, because no one on the Newark sideline or on the Newark team ran after that ball with any kind of expedience.
I like the setup of the play. The exact same formation, only instead of throwing to the one receiver on the other side, you're throwing it back and trying to set
You get sort of a bubble screen going there on the left side. Yeah, just a poor throw by Stallings.
And a timeout here, or an official's timeout, I should say. They're going to huddle together, figure this out. 8:28 to play, 21-0. Hodgson with the lead. Newark trying to punch it in just for the 2nd time this season. If they're able to get into the end zone, they scored a touchdown against St. Mark's late in that game, and then were shut out by a Concord team, which is losing right now. A sideline violation against Newark, and Barry Zender is now they're calling it against
Oh, my
Hodgson.
goodness.
So it went from a sideline violation against Newark, and Barry Zender started jumping up and down, and the referee changed it. So
we're
it's
having
a
some
sideline
problems with left
violation.
and right in this late in the second half of this game.
16
your other
penalties.
left.
16 penalties against Hodgson, even though the ref didn't want to give it to him.
No,
they
he
had
didn't.
to. So that's the third sideline violation. Of course, after the first, you're penalized 5 yards, and Stallings whips this one out to the right, looking for Earl, and goes 5 feet over his head. So it's going to bring up a third down.
Yeah, that one looked like it sort of just slipped out of Stallings' hand. He wasn't able to get anything on that throw at all, and fortunately for him, it did make its way out of bounds, bringing up a 3rd and 10 for Newark.
And so it's going to be, there's still a ball. It's going to remain at the 35-yard line. 2-down territory, certainly, at this point, Marty. So you got a chance. Now, what I want to see him open it up again. I want to see him try to throw the ball over the middle or do something here. And rather than just a quarterback sneak, and give Barry Zender and the offensive coaches credit, they've been trying to do that when they've had the ball here. So Stallings with one back, a single backfield, and he's going to whip it out to the right, and he got Coverdale, and he goes in and out of his hands, and a frustrated Stallings just flips his hands down, and you can see the frustration over here, and they're going to send in Tabari Wright. I can't imagine he's going in to punt. I think he's going to go in to be an additional wide receiver, and they have a Hodgson player down on the field, so they will tend to him, and we'll see what Barry Zender dials up here. I like the call. I think it could have. They just didn't execute it, and that's been the story of this series, Marty. Other than that one big play to Hodges, it's been an underthrown ball, it's been an overthrown ball, it's been a drop ball.
Yes, and you know it's funny with Stallings. He seems much more comfortable, and he's been much more accurate, frankly, on some of these deep throws than he is with some of these outs. He really gets he sort of has like a pitcher that when he maybe gets a little bit tired, he throws the ball high because of the last probably 3-4 throws to the outside have been very high.
And now Barry Zender is going to take a timeout after all that. The Hodgson player is up and off the field under his own power, and Newark is going to take a timeout. We are going to keep it right here. Don't forget to tune in to the Blue Hens Football Coaches Show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. 94.7 WDSD is the voice of the Blue Hens. Scott Klatskin talks UD football with head coach Danny Rocco at Klondike Kate's on Main Street in Newark. And, of course, you can go watch the show live. I've done that with my family a couple times. A lot of fun down there. Big thanks to our partner, NKN Films, for their outstanding design on our 2017 high school football schedule poster. Visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. Special Olympics Delaware is always looking for qualified coaches or former players wanting to coach. The next sports seasons are bowling and basketball. It takes just 2 hours a week for 8 weeks to make a difference. For more information, visit SODE.org. Speaking of Special Olympics, they've got a 5K run over the Delaware Memorial Bridge. Registrations are still open for that. It's the first time an event's ever been held on the bridge. It's open to first responders only, so you cannot be part of that run.
You posted
Marty.
a pic I love. Where were you?
I was on top of the Delaware Memorial Bridge taking a selfie.
Thought.
That's what I do. That's what I do. We were actually scouting out where we were going to put our videographer and our photographers for that event. So I got to go up there and climb out of the car.
I got motion sickness just looking at that picture.
4th and 10. Speaking of motion sickness, going in motion is Joe Hodges, and there's going to be a penalty flag and then a little bit of a scrum there. The referees stop in, do a nice job breaking that up. And we'll see what this is all about. Usually when you see that flag, it's against the offense. So it could turn a 4th and 10 into a 4th and 15. Referee, an illegal motion against Newark. So that is going to be Newark's 6th penalty of the night. So they're catching up to what their average is, which is 13 and a half. So Barry Zender's not going to like the fact, they only had 2 penalties in the first half, but they've had 4 here that have really hurt them trying to move the ball.
And, they've just come in opportune times throughout the game, and they've really come in opportune times in the first 2 games. They really cost them some scoring opportunities.
And another flag is down, and we'll see here. This was on the side judge closest to us. The referee is coming over to see what's going on here. A sideline violation against Newark.
Goodness.
I think if it stands against Newark, it should just be a warning. We'll see if they end up switching it like they did last time. They're not. That's a little sarcasm on my part, Marty. The referee is going to stay with that decision there, and it's going to stay Newark ball. 1 sideline warning. The next one will be a 5-yard penalty. So 4th and 15. Hodges goes in motion left to right. Stallings backs up under immediate pressure. Fires over the middle. It's tipped around and intercepted. Coming down with it is Karan Tucker, and he is quickly tackled by Hodges. That's why they do the tip drill in practice, Marty.
That's why they do that. We've seen our share of the tip drill this year, and That time Hodgson keeps the ball alive and comes up with the interception. One of the few times we've seen a bounce go anybody's way today.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a lot of good breaks for either team this evening, but Hodgson gets one here, and you have to think Frank Moffitt again is going to send out the troops with the same directive, and that is just drive forward, hold on to the football, and don't commit any penalties. Let's just wrap this up and get out of here.
21-0, 8 minutes and 11 seconds till they get out of here. And we'll see if Hodgson's able to hang on to the ball. They had almost a 5-minute and 50-second drive earlier in the game, and they're going to need that to get it down closer to out-of-here time.
Yes.
And, you know, this is where what's been a very ugly game in terms of penalties you hope does not get uglier.
Agreed. Under
center is Sanchez in the I formation, and the toss, I should say, is to Simeon Smith behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to pick up about 3, but a flag is thrown on the far side. It's going to be a hold against Hodgson, and so that's going to back the Silver Eagles up for Hodgson. That is their 17th penalty of the night.
This is really, I got to be honest, I can't believe we're seeing this. I mean, I don't know if anyone out there saw the University of South Florida versus Illinois game a couple weeks ago on a Friday night. But there was a very
only you watch that kind of stuff
right.
like that, Marty.
There was about 30 penalties, and it feels like we're approaching that territory now. And some of these, now this one is sort of an effort penalty. You can understand some of these, but at some point, you're the coaching staff, you just say, you know what, don't touch anybody. I mean, at this point, we just want the clock to keep running.
7:52, it is running once they spot the ball here. I formation again. Simeon Smith is the tailback, and the fullback is Dymere Wallace. He hasn't touched the ball yet, not going to touch it again. Simeon Smith's going to get it, and he's going to be tackled down. A nice job there by Donald Burton. We've called his number a few times. He came into the game with 5 tackles. I'd say he's probably got at least another 5.
I agree. That was a great job there. He shed his block really quickly, got to the ball carrier, and then brought him down quickly. A great tackle there. So, yeah, you know, one thing we kind of got lost in this, too, is for Barry Zender, is there's a lot of positives to take from his defense here tonight.
Yeah.
They've done a really nice job of limiting any big plays. Again, the starting quarterback and starting running back are out, but you still have some explosive talent in there for Hodgson. Newark's done a good job neutralizing it.
High formation, moving left to right, and a drop ball there, Sanchez, but he picks it up and he hands it off to Simeon Smith, and he's brought down. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, going to bring up a 3rd down.
That play blown up by the drop snap again. Simeon Smith had to do a little stutter step there to give Sanchez time to secure that ball before he takes the handoff, and it results in virtually no gain. So we're back to about a 3rd and 18 here for Hodgson.
Yeah, it looks like 3rd. Yeah, 3rd and 15, 16 maybe
16.
when it's all said and done there. 6:36 to play. 21-0. Hodgson with the lead. They scored that. Score total includes a safety that was scored back when Stallings got tackled in the end zone. So,
and you know, again, lost in this too. Newark has the one late score against St. Mark's for the season, and that's it.
Yeah, no, they're being shut down for the 2nd time. As Simeon Smith comes around the corner, he breaks away from a tackle, breaks away from 2, and gets pushed out of bounds. Newark's got to be careful not to get a late hit. A nice job by Newark not to do that, but not until Simeon Smith picks up a 1st down do they get him out of bounds.
Simeon Smith, a great job there, keeping his feet. Again, a kid who's kind of small, close to the ground, got a low center of gravity, just kind of bowled his way there for an additional 3-4 yards with that Newark defense. He's done a really nice job between he and Hale again, and Phillips mixed in there a little bit of filling in for Wiggins tonight.
And so it's going to be a 1st down for Hodgson. Clock is running. We're under 6 minutes. Hodgson with a 21-0 lead, trying to move to 2-1 on the season after dropping their opener. They picked up a win last week and looking to pick up win number 2 this week. Their 1st win against Newark as a Blue Hen Conference Flight A team. High formation, and the give is this time to Hale. Haven't called his number much this 2nd half, and he buries his way up. Fresh legs to the 48-yard line. 1st down.
You nailed it. That was exactly what that was. Fresh legs there, getting an opportunity to touch the ball, and he just bolted right through a little opening in that line. And next thing you know, he's got 1st down yardage, and this is exactly, if you're Frank Moffitt, what you want to see. You want to keep that clock marching. You want to keep moving forward. You don't want to have any more mistakes. And right now, you want to rely on, as we said, the hallmark of this team, which is that offensive line.
If you're just tuning in, Kurt Henry did not dress. He injured his leg sometime during the week, and Fred Wiggins has not been in the game since the 1st quarter. And the give is to Hale, and he spins out of 1 tackle before being dropped after an 8-yard gain. Tackle in the play by Steven Casella.
Really nice job there by Casella to bring him down, but not until after Hale again with a real nice strong run. He did a little spin move there at the end and tried to get a little fancy and paid for it with a big hit.
And so they're going to mark it at the 39-yard line of Newark. It's going to bring up 2nd and 3 for the Silver Eagles. 4:45 to play. 21-0 lead for Hodgson.
I am surprised Hodgson's not burning more play clock. They seem to be, and this could just be a case of wanting to get into an offensive rhythm before you get out of here, take something positive.
High formation this time. The give is to the up back, and he's barreling forward. That's Daimir Wallace. He's going to have the first down. I think it's his first carry of the game, good for him.
I was just going to say, that's a guy who's put his body on the line blocking all night long, finally gets a chance to carry the football, and he was going to make the most of it. He was hard to bring down there. First down yardage, and again, a nice job of the offensive line, just causing a whole lot of problems in the middle of that Newark defensive line. They're just undersized to go up against a team like Hodgson.
13 starters back from last year's team that went 5-5. They missed the playoffs for the first time in 5 years, and several of those starters are from the offensive and defensive line. Newark is going to take their third and final timeout of the half. We're going to keep it right here with 4:14 to play. 21-0, Hodgson with the lead, and when they come out of the timeout, they will have the ball on the Newark 29.5-yard line. We'll call it just inside the 30 on the first.
And that was another frustrating timeout for Barry Zender as he's looking at his team and his staff. There was another personnel issue. They were trying to get someone into the game. The person didn't have a helmet on. Finally, Zender called the timeout, so now we get the player finally coming into the ball game. It's just been one of those nights for Newark. But again, we talked about this going all the way back to the pregame, which seems about like 8 hours ago at this point. But it is a young, inexperienced team. And Coach Zender, it's going to take a little while. It's going to take patience. As we said earlier, it's going to take support from this crowd, which, at this point in the game, 4:14 left, down 21 points, there is still a monster-sized crowd here.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with this Newark group.
Yep.
The touchdown for cancer benefit that they've run tonight looks to have been incredibly successful based on all the yellow and gold we see throughout the stadium.
Yeah, your point, the 4 main skilled players on this team, Stalling and Hodges are sophomores, Wright and Jermaine Earl are freshmen.
There you go,
and
yeah.
so, if those guys can stay with the program, that's the kind, I think back to Taylor Reynolds his freshman year, Xavier Griffin, David Greenidge. It was a team that was struggling, and then 4 years later they're in the state championship game. The give is up the middle once again to Daimir Wallace, and he's close to a first down. Looks like he's going to be about 2 yards shy. Going to bring up a second down as we just get under 4 minutes to play here with a 21-0 lead for Hodgson over Newark.
I really like this Daimir Wallace kid. He's a big kid. He's very thick. Again, a low center of gravity. He's giving the spoon feed motion to the coaches to keep giving me the ball, which I love seeing from a fullback. The big man wants it. He's got a dirty jersey. He's got his sleeves pulled up to his shoulders. He just looks the part of, he got kind of a Mike Allstott type look to him out there.
Just one carry coming into the game. He's got 2 or 3 in this drive alone. I formation, and he's going to get a third carry and a first down. So the big guy, Wallace, picks up another first down for Hodgson as we approach the 3-minute mark.
And guys like that, if you're a defensive lineman and you get a guy who's pretty fresh still running into that line, it's so tough to stop. He's building up so much momentum. You've got a big offensive line giving you some push to begin with. This is where, if Hodgson's going to be successful in Flight A, this drive is going to be the epitome of how they do it. I was hoping we might see a team that might provide some sort of threat to Middletown. We haven't seen that tonight, but that doesn't mean between now and then they can't put something together.
And so with 3:10 to play and a first down, the give is to Hale up the middle. He keeps those legs churning and gets thrown down, but not till he gets all the way to almost the 1-yard line as we just go under 3 minutes left in the game.
Boy, Hale is deceptively quick. He doesn't look the part. Again, he's thick. He's a low center of gravity, but boy, when he hits that hole, he just blasts through it like a rocket and does a really nice job of getting yards after contact. He runs right through arm tackles. These Hodgson runners are all well trained in how to break through arm tackles, and they all do a really nice job. When Wiggins is back in this lineup and Henry's in this lineup and they're firing on all cylinders, this is going to be a dangerous team in Flight A.
Hale came in with 7 carries for 36 yards. He's got more than 7 carries tonight. He's got 3 touchdowns. We'll see if he can punch his 4th in. Actually, he won't, as Simeon Smith is back in the game in a tailback position to give it to Smith. He scoots around the end for the score. 2 yards out. Simeon Smith puts Hodgson up 27-0.
That's a beautiful job by the offensive line. Again, they pushed back Newark. Newark stood their ground a little bit. That play was designed to go up the middle. Simeon Smith read that the defensive line was getting tangled up in the middle. He took it off the right side and sort of walks into the end zone there. So nice touchdown for him. He's a kid who's really picked up the slack for Wiggins tonight.
And so Simeon Smith's 2-yard run gives Hodgson a 27-0 lead. There's an injured player in the back of the end zone, a Hodgson player. That looks like a cramp as he is up and moving out on his own. That's Wendell Lima, the big senior linebacker for Hodgson, and he's going to be off the field under his own power. Hodgson will get ready to kick the extra point here, and will basically wrap this game up as far as an outcome. We'll see if Newark is able to manage to put a scoring drive together when they do get the ball back. Now, Newark's going to get the ball back with about 2:29 to go and no timeouts, as they've used all 3 of their timeouts for what looked like to be substitution issues. And so that's where you really wish you had one of those back.
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of interesting. This score is something we sort of envisioned when the game started, but it took an entirely different way of getting here than we thought we'd see.
Josue Avila Lopez is on for the kick. The hold is down by Mapp. The kick is up, and it is no good. It is wide left. So with 2:29 to play, the score is Hodgson 27, Newark 0. We're going to keep it right here as we've used up all of our station breaks. Don't forget that after the game, it's the American Spirit Federal Credit Union post-game show. We'll recap all of tonight's action, announce our Crown Trophy player of the game, and give you a preview of our game next week on Fox Sports 1290. That's going to be the St. Elizabeth versus Delaware Military Academy game up there at Baynard Stadium. Delaware Military Academy came into tonight's action at 2-0. St. Elizabeth, your alma mater, Marty, 1-1 with a new coach.
That's right. Joe Wright trying to bring a new offensive presence to the St. Elizabeth Vikings, trying to open up the passing attack a little bit. Joe Hempel was an amazing coach for so many years at St. Elizabeth, but there's only so many times you can watch the fullback lead the tailback for 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Now, he did bring home the state championship, so I've got no complaints, but I do like seeing the ball tossed around the yard a little bit.
All right, speaking of tossing the ball around, that's what Hodgson has not done much of tonight because they haven't needed to. The running game has been very effective. Sanchez has done a nice job orchestrating the game, stepped in for the injured Henry, who went down, I guess, midway through the week. He was struggling to practice, and so Sanchez at least got some practice reps in and has done a nice job.
And we should say that we did hear from one of the coaches that if this had been an end-of-the-season game where something was on the line that Henry possibly could have played, that this was more preventative than anything else, which, you know, as a parent, I say you really appreciate that.
Sure.
It's a game that Hodgson felt they could win. They felt comfortable with Sanchez at quarterback, so it's great that Henry got a chance to sit out and get healed up in time for the rest of the season.
Hodges and Jermaine Earl and Tabari Wright are back deep for Newark. The kick is going to go to Hodges. He's going to catch it on his 9-yard line. Breaks up the middle, cuts out to the left, has a little bit of daylight across the 30 to the 35, and gets pushed out of bounds. And they're going to be a late hit there, as it was Eric Shimko who rode him about 5 yards out of bounds. So that's going to be another personal foul against Hodgson, their 18th penalty of the game.
And he's raising his hands to his coaching staff as what did I do? But, I mean, it happened 20 yards in front of us, and you'd call that 100 times out of 100. I mean, once he's out of bounds, you got to get off his back. You can't just ride him into the ground.
And Barry Zender's not happy about something, so maybe we've got it wrong. I don't know.
It won't be the first time tonight, that's for sure.
Two of the refs are discussing it here on the near sideline where Barry Zender is. And Barry Zender's not happy. Now they're going to go over and discuss it as a crew. We've seen this a few times tonight. And I have no problem with this if they get it right.
I don't either.
And we'll see what they're going to call here. I'm not sure what Newark possibly could have done out of bounds unless something was said. It's going to be a personal foul against Hodgson and a personal foul against Newark. So a retaliation. So they negate each other. And if, in fact, that did happen, then shame on Newark for retaliating, because that's you cost yourself 15 yards. And Zender, I guess, didn't think there was a retaliation. He's still arguing about it over on the sideline here. But it is what it is, and what that is 2:21 to play. Hodgson with a 27-0 lead, and Newark with the ball. Newark with the ball on their own 41-yard line. They look like they were in a defensive stance.
Yes.
That's why I questioned myself there after all that conferencing. And Stallings is in the backfield in the shotgun position. 2 wide receivers out to the right. And the give is in the backfield, and taken down immediately is Demel Robinson, and it's going to be a loss of about 6 yards back to the 35. Newark has no timeouts left, so even if they wanted to take one and extend this game for some reason, they can't. So we're at the 2-minute mark. Stallings is coming over to get the next call for Zender, and we've got an injured player for Hodgson.
I believe that's Daimir Wallace.
Yep.
Yeah, the fullback who's done such a nice job tonight is down in the middle of the field. Hopefully that's not something serious for Hodgson.
Looks like a cramp because he wasn't even involved in the play.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, he's 15 yards from where the play happened, so it looked like maybe he cramped up on the way back, and he is up and walking as if it is a cramp. He's going to have to leave the game because they stopped the clock for him, and so he will be coming off. And when they do get this clock started, it's going to be 2:03 to play. And Newark was hoping to pick up its first win of the season, the fourth of Barry Zender's career. They picked up 3 last year. They stayed in it. They were in it. They had their chances. Hodgson gave them a lot of chances with their own mistakes, their own penalties, but they just weren't able to put anything together on the offensive side of the ball. So with under 2 minutes to play, Stallings is going to take the snap, and he's going to give it to Robinson again. And Robinson is going to work his way up, and a pickup of about 10 yards, almost to the first down. A great run by Demel Robinson, only a sophomore. Again, we talk about the youth of this Newark team. That's another underclassman making a play.
And, boy, you got it with a minute and a half left in the game. I mean, the effort churning his legs there, just not giving up. I love seeing that, and I'm sure Coach Zender does too. I mean, it'd be very easy at this point just to kind of mail it in. But, yeah, that was a great run. The Hodgson defense, all it took to get him down at that point, it took about 5 or 6 guys.
And so with 1:18 to play, it's going to be 3rd down, 2 yards to go. The ball is on the 49-yard line. Stallings is in the pistol formation. Robinson flanked off to his left. And the exact same play 3 in a row. And this time looks like he's going to have the first down. Actually, the close ref doesn't have it, but the far ref does. He's going to be short. So it's going to be a 4th down and 1 to go with 53 seconds to play. So Newark's going to have one more play. My guess is it's going to be a running play, and if they pick up the first down, they'll just let the clock go. This is the point where every play you run at this point, you're increasing the risk of injury for nothing.
Absolutely.
Really.
I agree 100%. Yeah, at this point, I'm just picking a running play, and, if that's Demel Robinson again, you just give the ball to somebody, let them run it into the line, hopefully pick up a first down because you want to go out of here on a positive note.
4th and about a half a yard. The snap comes back. Same play. Robinson has it. He has the first down, and he's brought down at the 45-yard line. The clock will stop as they move the chains, and then as soon as the chains are set, it should start, and that should be it. Coach Barry Zender has taken the headset off and pointed to his team to line up at the 50-yard line here, and he's told the ref, we're done. And so a valiant effort by Newark here in their home opener. They hung with a Hodgson team that many predicted would, quite frankly, beat them by a lot of points, even a running clock. That did not happen. As you pointed out, Newark played tough until the end, but tough was not enough as the Hodgson Silver Eagles are coming away with a 27-0 victory over the Newark Yellow Jackets here at Hoffman Stadium. When we come back, it's time for the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show. You've been listening to Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports.
Proud partner, Fox Sports 1290 AM.
You've heard of the Fun Police? Well, we're the opposite. The original donut shop coffee. Full flavor, deliciously straightforward coffee, just enjoyed with a smile. So good, it's criminal. Enjoy a cup and sprinkle some fun into your day. Made for your Keurig brewer. Find it at Keurig.com and grocery stores everywhere. Just look for the bright teal box with the donut. The original donut shop coffee. Have more fun.
American Spirit Federal Credit Union brings you Kasasa. What's Kasasa? It's a catchy word for earning cash that just might make you want to dance. Get paid for doing simple things you do anyway. That's free
Casasa Checking. Ask for Casasa by name at American Spirit Federal Credit Union.
The area's largest family-owned and operated pet supply store is proud to support Blue Hens football. Concord Pet Foods and Supplies, with 28 locations, was started here in Delaware by Larry Muchler 36 years ago. Experience the difference at Concord Pet. Their outstanding staff will help you with everything your pet needs. Plus, the Frequent Buyer Program allows you to earn free food, litter, and more. And now Concord Pet has a new location at 2800 Concord Pike, next to Burger King. Online at ConcordPetFoods.com. Go Hens!
To the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show. It's for free Casasa Checking. American Spirit.
Welcome back to Hoffman Stadium here on the Newark High campus, where the Hodgson Silver Eagles have captured the Blue Hen Flight A conference matchup between these two teams playing against each other as Flight A members together for the first time. It was 27-0. This is the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show. I'm John Busby, along with Marty Sheehan. American Spirit Federal Credit Union proudly brings you Casasa Checking. Ask for free Casasa Checking by name at American Spirit Federal Credit Union. Visit AmericanSpirit.org. Hodgson ups its record to 2-1. Newark falls to 0-3. The game took 2 hours and 38 minutes. Only one touchdown in the first half. It was in the second quarter with 10:38 to play when Mike Sanchez just kind of skipped into the end zone up the middle to put them up 7-0. And then there wasn't much scoring in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, a safety put Hodgson up by 9-0. I should say there was no scoring in the third quarter. It was the safety early in the fourth quarter at the 11:49 mark that put Hodgson up 9-0. On the next possession, a 65-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage by Simeon Smith made it 15-0. Darius Hale added a 1-yard touchdown run, and Simeon Smith capped the scoring with a 2-yard run with just 2:29 to play to make the final score 27-0. I don't think the score was quite as indicative as to how close this game was at one point. A very sloppy game, certainly for Hodgson, and although it won't show in the stats, a sloppy game from Newark in terms of some drop snaps. Yes. The punter right under constant pressure as he's been all season, and what looked like substitution issues on the Newark sideline.
I agree. Yeah, this game, even though it ended up 27-0, people open the paper and say, oh, Hodgson blew out Newark. It was much closer than that. Hodgson made mistake after mistake throughout the game. Newark showed a lot defensively. I thought they did a lot shutting down some of Hodgson's most powerful offensive weapons. Again, Newark, as you said, needs to clean up some mistakes. I mean, right being under pressure on every single punt, they've got to figure out the protection there. They've got to find a way to either roll Stallings out of the pocket or get him a little bit more time to open things up because the running game is just not happening for Newark. I mean, Hodges is going to be the focus of every team they play. For Hodgson, this is kind of we got out of here, we got a win, we got a 27-0 shutout win. But this is kind of a go back to the drawing board. As a coach, you may love this game because it gives you a ton to work on in film study over the course of the week. There's nothing that the kids can go out of here and feel super fantastic about other than they got the win. If you're a coach, there's a ton of things you go back and make sure you fix.
And all coaches will take a sloppy win
Absolutely.
Before they would take a clean loss.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. Both these teams play schools from the Blue Hen Conference next week. Hodgson hosts Concord in a rare Friday afternoon 3:30 game up the road in Hodgson across from People Plaza. They play all their home games at 10:30 on Saturday morning. My only guess is maybe SATs are that day or something. Newark has its third tough away opponent of the season when they travel to Newcastle to take on the William Penn Colonials on Saturday at 1 o'clock. We're not sure of the result of that game tonight, but William and Penn went down there 0-2.
Yes.
Let me tell you, if they're 0-3, it's going to be even tougher on Saturday for the Newark Yellow Jackets. All right, when we come back, we'll announce the Crown Trophy Player of the Game and talk about our next game here on Fox Sports 1290. You're listening to the High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. Hodgson 27, Newark nothing. We'll be right back.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
With a 27-0 victory over Newark. It's now time for our Crown Trophy Player of the Game. Crown Trophy in Glasgow and Wilmington have always been proud supporters of Fox Sports 1290 and the student athletes in the state of Delaware. Visit Crown Trophy for all the best in trophies, and make sure to check out their varsity letter sports balls. Continuing with the Crown Trophy tradition, each player of the game this season will win a customized Crown Trophy award plaque, and the school will receive one as well for its trophy case. Visit crowntrophy.com. Marty, the floor is yours.
I thought there were some good individual performances tonight among all the sloppiness that we saw. I thought Darius Hale for Hodgson did a really nice job once Wiggins went out after that first series. Again, we don't know what happened with him, but Hale did a really nice job filling in. I thought Michael Sanchez, once he settled down, did a much better job of running the offense. And frankly, all he needed to do was get into the routine of taking the snap and make sure he handed it off. And once he got that down, they started rolling with some of the running backs. But for me, the kid that really stood out with Wiggins' absence was the senior running back and outside linebacker for Hodgson, Simeon Smith. He counted for 2 touchdowns tonight, including at the time what I called the home run hit for Hodgson when he hit that 65-yard scamper down the field that really seemed to put the nail in the coffin of this game. And just to step in and do a really nice job. Wiggins had been getting the yeoman's share of the work for this team. Smith, Billups, and Hale were sharing some of the rest, but I thought Smith stepped in and did a fantastic job tonight. So my pick for the Crown Trophy Player of the Game is senior Simeon Smith.
Congratulations to Simeon Smith. The Crown Trophy will get a plaque to him and also one for the Hodgson Trophy case. All right, next Friday night we head to historic Baynard Stadium as the Delaware Military Academy hosts St. Elizabeth in a Division I non-conference matchup. Division II non-conference matchup. Both these teams should contend for the Division II playoffs, and so both realize the importance of picking up a win against another playoff contender and earning valuable postseason points. We'll be on the air with our pregame show at 6:30, followed by kickoff at 7. That's going to do it for tonight. A big thanks to our producer, Ronnie Vickers, for keeping us up and running, and to Nick Halliday and Leonard and his production crew for the excellent coverage on 302 Sports. For Marty Sheehan, I'm John Busby. Once again, the final score, Hodgson 27, Newark 0. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, good night from Newark High School.